A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
The Jack Benny Program. Lucky Strike means fine tobacco, so round, so firm, so fully packed, so free and easy on the draw.
LSMFT, LSMFT, LSMFT.
Of course.
Right you are.
Lucky Strike means fine tobacco, so round, so firm, so fully packed, so free and easy on the draw. For real deep-down smoking enjoyment, you want a cigarette made of fine tobacco. For certainly it takes fine tobacco to make a fine cigarette.
And Lucky Strike means fine tobacco. Yes, first, last, and always, Lucky Strike means fine tobacco. So round, so firm, so fully packed, so free and easy on the draw.
45 sold American.
So for real deep-down smoking enjoyment, smoke that smoke of fine tobacco, Lucky Strike.
The Lucky Strike program starring Jack Benny with Mary Livingston, Phil Harris, Rochester, Larry Stevens, and yours truly, Don Wilson. Well, ladies and gentlemen, last Thursday was Thanksgiving. So let's turn back the clock and show you how Jack Benny and his gang spent the day. Our scene opens in Jack's home in Beverly Hills, and at the moment, Rochester is straightening up the house.
Night and day, I am the one. Thanksgiving comes and goes, but I'm never done.
Rochester.
I'm working all the time. I'm nothing but a one-man assembly line. Night and day.
Rochester.
Day and night.
Paul Robeson.
Yes, Mr. Bennett.
You're always singing, always singing.
Well, I'm happy, boss. Here it is Thanksgiving, and I'm glad I wasn't born a turkey.
Oh, you wouldn't like that, huh?
No, I couldn't stand being in an oven all undressed and people peeping in at me.
Oh.
And when you ain't got no head, you can't blush.
Rochester, stop being so silly. You know, I'm going to Miss Livingston's house for a Thanksgiving party, so help me get dressed.
Okay, boss, but if I were you, I'd change my mind about wearing that old tuxedo.
Why? What'd you do to it?
Oh, it's nothing I did, boss, but when I went to get it, the closet was full of moths.
Moths? Oh, my goodness. Were they eating my tuxedo?
Eating it? They didn't even look up when I came in.
Well, maybe it won't show. What part did they eat?
Well, to put it geographically, the South ain't solid anymore.
Oh, it can't be that bad. Now go get my dress shoes.
I ain't going back in that closet again. They warned me.
Warned you?
Those moths are tough.
What?
When I reached for your tuxedo, they grabbed the fountain pen out of the pocket, unscrewed the cap, put it up to their shoulder like a bazooka, and squirted ink in my face.
Squirted ink in your face?
You have to take my word for it, boy.
Rochester, why is it that every time I get dressed, I have to go through all of... Come in.
Remember me? I'm Herman Peabody, the insurance salesman.
Oh, hello, Herman.
I just dropped by to wish you a happy Thanksgiving.
Well, thanks, Herman. Come on in.
Oh, I'd like to, but this leash won't reach any farther.
Oh, you've got your dog with you?
Oh, my turkey. I'm taking it out for a walk.
Herman, you're taking your turkey out for a walk on Thanksgiving?
It was his last request.
Oh.
On the way over here, I put the turkey on a penny weighing machine, and a little card came out.
What did it say?
It said, you weigh 32 pounds, have good character, make friends easily, but you have a tendency to lose your head.
Now, wait a minute, Herman. Have you been celebrating Thanksgiving?
Uh-huh.
I thought so. Well, goodbye, Herman. Have a nice dinner.
Well, goodbye, Mr. Benny. Come on, Dolores.
You're a peculiar sort of a fella. Here, Rochester, before I put my coat on, you better fix my bow tie.
Yes, sir. Lift your chin up a little.
Someday I'm going to learn how to tie a bow myself, and I won't... Rochester, don't just stand there holding it. Tie it.
I'm waiting for your Adam's apple to clear the runway.
Rochester, this is no time for jokes, so hurry up with my bow tie.
Yes, sir.
Wait a minute. Tie it below my Adam's apple.
But, boss, last time you went to a party, I tied it above your Adam's apple.
I know. Every time I swallowed, I pulled my shirt tail out. So this time, tie it... There's the phone.
I'll get it. Mr. Benny's residence, star, stage, screen, radio, and we'll stick with children, 50 cents extra.
Rochester, just answer the phone and don't...
Hello, Rochester. This is Miss Livingston. Is Mr. Benny there?
Yes, Miss Livingston, just a minute. It's for you, boss.
Hello?
Jack, what's taking you so long? Everybody's here but you.
Well, Mary, I've got a little surprise for you. I'm going to dress formal tonight.
Formal?
Yes.
What are you going to do, wear your black toupee?
No, I'm wearing my tuxedo.
Oh, Jack, that faded old thing is so green and splotchy.
It is not.
It is, too. The last time you wore it, you looked like a Jap sniper.
I'm going to wear it anyway, and I'll be over in a few minutes.
Okay, goodbye.
Goodbye.
Oh, Jack,
Yeah?
I hate to ask you this, but, well, I've worked hard making this dinner for the whole gang, so I thought maybe you'd stop over at the florist and bring me some flowers.
Okay, Mary, I'll bring you half a dozen roses.
Only a half a dozen? But, Jack, they don't cost much.
Well, no, the roses alone don't, Mary, but you're going to the expense of the entire dinner. Why should you spend any more? After all, you're doing enough.
Jack, I meant for you to buy the roses.
Oh. Well, Mary, you didn't have to beat around the bush. Why didn't you come right out and say so? Of course I'll bring them. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Of all the cheap guys I ever...
What did you say, Mary?
This isn't Mary. This is the operator.
Well, you're not supposed to be listening in. Smart aleck operator. Oh, say, Rochester, I think it'd be a good idea if you came along with me. Miss Livingston might need some more help.
I'd like to, but you know every Thanksgiving I go to a party on Central Avenue.
Oh, yes, that's right.
We fill up on plum pudding and brandy sauce. Mm-hmm.
Say, that sounds good, huh? Plum pudding and brandy sauce.
Yes, sir. And this year it's going to be better than ever.
Why?
We couldn't get any plum pudding.
Oh, well, you go right ahead, Rochester, and have a good time. I better be running along, too. How do I look? Am I okay?
You look neat, boss. But do you have to wear all those elf teeth at the same time?
Certainly, Rochester. I belong to 8 different lodges. Anyway, what's wrong with it?
Nothing, but you've got the only vest in town that smiles at you.
Well, you know me. I always like to put up a happy front. So long, Rochester. So long, kid.
Phil.
It sure was.
Gee, I wish Jack would get here.
Come on, Phil, play us another one.
Yeah, get hot.
Play it. Say, Phil, that's a swell idea, bringing your whole band over here to Mary's house.
Yeah, wasn't it, Mary?
Phil, I don't mind your band being here, but your boys have got a lot of nerve putting one of my best dishes on the piano for an ashtray.
That ain't no ashtray, that's for tips.
Tip? What a game.
Say, Mary, what are we going to eat? I'm hungry.
Me too, Miss Livingston.
Now, take it easy, fellas. We'll eat as soon as Jack gets here. Meanwhile, let's have some fun.
Okay, let's have some more music. Hit it, George.
Hey,
Let's play
wait a
some.
minute, Phil. Can I play the drums?
Sure, go ahead. Beat it out, Don. Come on, George. Hit it out there. Play it, Donald. Yeah, Donald. Hey, Don, look out. Look out, Don.
John, take that symbol off your head. You look like dragon seed. And, fellas, don't break up the house. I've got to go out in the kitchen and see how my new maid is doing.
Okay, Mary. Hurry back, huh?
I will.
Okay, George, hit it.
That's the only thing I'm thinking of. Oh, Pauline, as soon as Mr. Benny gets here, we'll have dinner.
Yes, ma'am.
I'll put the turkey on the serving tray, and you go in the dining room and set the table.
Oh, I've already done that, Miss Livingston, and I hope you like it. I put the butter right in the center, and around it I put the salt shakers.
You put the salt shakers around the butter?
And around the salt shakers I put the pepper shakers, and around the pepper shakers I put the cream pitchers, and around the cream pitchers I put the sugar bowls.
Well, Pauline, why did you do all that?
Well, we can't stop them from using the butter, but I figured we can slow them down a little.
Well, that was thoughtful of you, Pauline, but I'll rearrange the table later.
Yes, ma'am.
Right now, you better help me. I've been having trouble with the cranberry sauce.
What's the matter? Can't you get the berries to cram?
Pauline, you don't cranberries, you mash them.
Gee, I'm sorry, Miss Livingston. I don't know much about cooking, but if I did, it would probably help me to get a boyfriend who's interested in marriage. Like my girlfriend who wanted to get married, so she went to school to learn how to cook. Then after she learned how to cook, she met the cutest fella, and they were married. And after they were married, she found out he was a chef, so it really doesn't make any difference, does it?
No, I guess it doesn't. Anyway, let's...
Oh, say, Mary, I just thought about something.
Just a minute, Phil. I'm talking to my maid.
Well. Get a load of them legs.
Phil!
I'm looking at the turkey.
Oh.
Anyway, Livy, when the food's all ready, let me know and I'll help you serve it.
Thanks, but it won't be necessary, Phil. I've hired a butler for the day.
Okay. I'd sure love to see that turkey in a bathing suit.
Phil, get out of here.
Say, he's cute, isn't he?
Yeah. Now, Pauline, you mash the potatoes while I get the ice cubes out of it.
Oh, there's the door.
Oh, that's all right, Pauline. I'll get it. I can't give you anything but love, baby. That's the only thing. Oh, hello, Jack. Come on in.
Hello, Mary. So nice, I thought I'd walk over. Isn't it a bright, sunny day?
Yeah. Here, I'll take your parasol.
Thanks, and help me off with my overcoat, will you?
Okay. Now, hand me your hat.
Here. And here's my muffler. And my gloves. Now, hold my coat while I take off my sweater, will you?
Okay.
There you are.
You want a refill on your hot water bottle?
Well, you can kid if you want to, but this is the season for cold. You know, Mary, funny thing just happened. As many times I've been over here, today I walked right by your house and had to come back.
I don't doubt it. Once you get all those clothes moving, it's hard to stop it.
Yeah. Is everybody here?
Sure, they're in the living room. Let's go in.
Okay.
Say, Jack, how about the flowers?
They said they'd send them over. They'll probably be here pretty soon. Hiya, fellas.
Hiya, Jackson. Oh, Mr. Benny. Hello, Jack. Can it be the breeze of the
All right, boys, all right. I get it. Well, fellas, you having fun?
Well, I'll say we are. Say,
Sure.
Jackson, who do you think I ran into last night?
Who, Phil?
Your old girlfriend, Gladys Zabisco.
Really? How is Gladys?
Oh, fine. And you know, Jackson, she looks a lot better. She had an operation on her nose.
Her nose? Why, her nose was straight. What did she have done?
She had it moved to the middle of her face.
Now, cut that out.
Mary?
Pretty soon. Say, Larry, while we're waiting, how about singing us a song?
Yeah, come on, Larry. How about it, huh?
Sure, kid. Go ahead, will you?
Okay.
Oh, there's the door.
I'll get it, Mary. Hold the song till I come back, will you, kid? Yum, bum, 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 dee, dum, 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 dee, dum. Dum, 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 sweet Georgia Brown. Dum, 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 sweet Georgia Brown. Yes?
How do you do? Is this Miss Livingston's residence?
Yes, it is.
Well, Miss Livingston is expecting me for Thanksgiving dinner.
Oh, well, come right in. You got here just in time. The fun's just started.
How nice.
Now, let me take your hat.
Thank you.
Your coat.
Thank you.
Now, follow me. Hey, kid! Oh, pardon me. I didn't introduce myself. I'm Jack Benny.
How do you do? I'm the new butler.
Hey, kid! What? The butler?
Yes. Are you the downstairs man?
I happen to be a guest here. If you're the butler, the kitchen's right through that door.
Thank you, sir.
Jack, who was that at the door?
Nobody.
Well, whose coat and hat are you carrying?
Who's holding cat? Oh, John, it's your butler, and he just came in. All right, laugh. I know how to keep help. Go ahead and sing, Larry. Go ahead.
Because to tell you the truth, I'll be lonely. I don't mind being lonely when my heart tells me you are lonely too. I'll walk alone. They'll ask me why, and I'll tell them I'd rather. There are dreams I must gather, dreams we fashioned the night you held me tight. I'll always be near you wherever you are each night. In every prayer, if you call, I'll hear you, no matter how far. Just close your eyes and I'll be there. Please walk alone and send your love and your kisses to guide me till you're walking beside me.
Very good. That was great, Larry.
Hey, fellas. Everybody in the dining room. Dinner's on the table.
Oh, boy. Let's go. Hey, kid. Yes, wait a minute. Let's all march in. You know, conga line.
Okay.
Da 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 da. Boom. Da 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 da. Boom. Da 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 da. Boom. Don, if you can't control it, don't swing it. For heaven's sake.
Oh, Jack, you and your ideas. Now, come on in, fellas. The dinner will get cold.
Okay, let's go.
Jack, bring in an extra chair.
Okay, I'll be with you in a minute. Hey, look what's in this dish here on top of the piano. Well.
Hey, get your hands out of there, Jackson. That's for the boys.
Oh.
Jack!
How in the world could she see from the other room? Mary, I'll bring this straight back chair in here.
Okay.
Hey, where do you want me to sit, Mary?
Right there. Your name's on the place card.
Well, place cards and everything. How does Phil know where to sit down? He can't read.
I put his picture on the plate.
Oh.
That's all your fault, Jackson. You got people thinking I can't read.
Oh, yeah? Well, let me see you write your name.
Don't change the subject. I'm talking about reading.
I thought so.
Jack, will you please sit down and carve the turkey?
Okay.
Boy, get the size of it.
You know, Jack, that's a bigger one than we had at your house last Thanksgiving.
Oh, I don't know. My turkey was pretty big.
Go on. I've seen more meat on Sinatra.
I don't know about that. Hey, Larry, what do you want, white meat or dark meat?
White meat, please.
Don?
I'll have some dark meat.
Say, Mary, did you stuff this turkey yourself?
Yes, why?
Well, it's so round, so firm, so fully packed. Oh, Harris, you're so spontaneous, and you haven't had a drink all day.
Well, that doesn't apply to turkeys. That's Lucky Strike cigarettes.
I know. Hey, kids, pass the sauce.
The sauce?
Yes, with men who know Tabasco best, I'll take it 2-1. Oh, Harris, just like a pilgrim, you're making progress, you boy.
Oh, brother.
Now, Phil, cut that out. The correct saying is, with men who know tobacco best, it's Lucky's 2-1.
Don, Phil's only kidding. Can't you see we've got Lucky Strike cigarettes on the table?
Well, then let's hurry up with the dinner and get at 'em.
All right.
Oh, Miss Livingston, shall I serve the hot biscuits now?
Yes, Carl.
Very well, madam. There.
Carl, don't throw the biscuits.
Yeah.
Why don't you stand closer to the table?
I've been watching these people eat, and I don't want to get any on me.
What?
And that old man with the carving knife scares me to death.
Now, wait a minute.
I know your type. Those blue eyes aren't fooling me a bit.
You're just mad because my tuxedo is better than yours.
Now, Carl, your job is just to serve the food and not to antagonize the guests.
Yes, madam.
Hey, Jackson, how about making a speech? Come on, huh? Come on, make a speech for us.
Go ahead, Jack. Say something. This is the first time we've all had dinner together in a long time.
Okay. Well, kids, it's sure nice for all of us to be gathered here on Thanksgiving. I know that during the year we've had our little differences and a few arguments, but this is a day to forget all that and cement our friendship so that it's stronger than ever.
Here, here.
Thank you. And now... If we'll just forget our little differences.
But, Jack, we've never had any real arguments.
Of course not, Jackson.
Oh, I was just thinking about little things like last week when Don and I had that argument about what naval hero said, "Don't give up the ship." Now, Don found out he was wrong, and I'm not going to rub it in. It's all over. So if we'll just...
Wait a minute, Jack. I wasn't wrong.
So if we'll just...
It was Captain James Lawrence who said, "Don't give up the ship."
No, Don. It was John Paul Jones. So if we'll
Jack,
just...
I still insist you're wrong. It was Captain James Lawrence.
Don Wilson, you can argue till you're blue in the face. It was John Paul Jones. And I'm going to prove it.
Jack, put down that carving knife.
Oh, pardon me. Beast. Now, Don, this is Thanksgiving, so let's forget it. You think it was Captain James Lawrence, but I know it was John Paul Jones.
Say, Jackson, wasn't he on our program about 5 weeks ago?
That was John Charles Thomas. Now, Don, take my word for it. I know what I'm talking
Well,
about.
so do I. It was Captain James Lawrence.
It was John Paul Jones.
Oh, for heaven's sake, cut it out. Carl, serve the dessert, will you please?
I will if those two gentlemen don't get off the table.
I will if he will.
I'll have some more of that white meat.
That's my leg. Don Wilkins, I think it's awful for you to come here on Thanksgiving, accept Mary's hospitality, and start a big argument like this.
I didn't start the argument. You did. And any schoolboy knows that Captain James Lawrence said, don't give up the ship.
Well, every schoolboy knows that it was John Paul Jones. And you're just being stubborn about it, that's all.
Yes, for goodness sake, finish the speech you started.
I'll do it if everybody will shut up. Now, as I was saying... We're gathered here on Thanksgiving Day in a spirit of friendship. A word that in itself represents that binding tie between all people. Let's try, friends. Let's try to keep the feeling that is so prevalent on this day throughout the entire year. So whenever you feel discouraged, just think of those famous words of John Paul Jones. Don't give up the fight.
Jack will be back in just a minute. But first, here are my good friends, L.A. Speed Riggs and Kenneth Delmar.
If you were present at the auctions down south, you could see Lucky Strike consistently select and buy the finer, the lighter, the naturally milder Lucky Strike tobacco. Yes, Lucky Strike means fine tobacco. And in a cigarette, it's the tobacco that counts. Remember that the next time you buy cigarettes. Lucky Strike means fine tobacco, so round, so firm, so fully packed, so free and easy on the draw.
The famous tobacco auctioneers are on tonight's program are Mr. L.A. Speed Riggs of Goldsboro, North Carolina, and Mr. F.E. Boone of Lexington, Kentucky.
At 44, sold American.
And this is Basil Rysdale speaking for Lucky Strike. LSMFT, LSMFT, LSMFT.
A friendly suggestion. For your own greater enjoyment, smoke that smoke of fine tobacco, Lucky Strike. So round, so firm, so fully packed, so free and easy on the draw.
Say, Mary, I enjoyed your Thanksgiving dinner very much, but I wish John wouldn't be so stubborn. After all, when a man's wrong, why doesn't he give in?
But Jack, Don is right. It wasn't John Paul Jones. It was Captain James Lawrence who said, don't give up the ship.
Mary, Captain James Lawrence said, I do not choose to run.
He did not.
Then who said it?
One of Crosby's horses.
All right. Well, I'm not going to argue. I got to go over to Joe E. Brown's program and congratulate him on his 44th anniversary. I don't have to. I want to go. I mean, there's the door. I can't give you anything but love, baby.
Flowers from Miss Livingston.
Flowers?
Oh, yes, Mary. Don't you remember I stopped off at the florist?
Oh, yes. Well, boy, what took you so long? Why didn't you bring the flowers sooner?
I couldn't. Mr. Benny only ordered the seeds. Well, I wanted them to be nice and fresh. Good night, folks.
Broadcasting Company. KFI, Los Angeles, Earl C. Anthony Incorporated. Flamingo Nail Polish, the exquisitely beautiful nail polish that well-groomed women use. Flamingo is long-lasting, resists chipping and peeling, and comes in thrilling shades. Buy Flamingo, 25 cents plus tax.
From the heart of the jungle comes a savage cry of victory. This is Tarzan, Lord of the Jungle. From the black core of dark Africa, land of enchantment, mystery, and violence, comes one of the most colorful figures of all time, transcribed from the immortal pen of Edgar Rice Burroughs. Tarzan, the bronzed white son of the jungle. And now, in the very words of Mr. Burroughs, the story of African Thanksgiving.
It was late fall, and the heat hung like a stifling blanket over the jungle where it bordered the native city of El Reyden. Even the recently cut branches that covered the pitfalls were dry and lifeless. There were many of these traps designed to protect the city against marauding beasts. A huge lion lay on the bottom of one of the pits, gasping for breath in the arid heat of noon. For a moment, the lion seemed confused as the slender figure of a white girl came hurtling down into the pit. Then he crouched low, snarling. He was about to spring when a bronze savage leaped into the pitfall and came slowly toward him, a gleaming shaft of steel in his powerful hands.
Dust that root over there and scramble up the side.
Merci, monsieur.
Start back to the city. Hurry.
I will do as you say, monsieur. I should not have run away in the first place. I stand no chance of escaping.
Well, now, I better scramble out of here myself. Now, the girl's out of sight already. She really must have run as fast as she... I wonder what she meant by standing no chance of escaping. I think I'll go back to the public inn at El Reyden and find out.
Usually the inn at El Reyden was either completely deserted or almost so. But now the walled courtyard was crowded. A dozen Arab horses were tethered there. A cortege of slaves stood about, and an enormous Senegalese guard stood sentry at the inn's entrance. His fierce eyes gleamed from beneath a scarlet fez, and he raised a huge broadsword as Tarzan attempted to enter.
Not go past this door.
The sign proclaims this to be a public inn, and I desire to enter. I'm looking for a girl who just ran from the jungle.
Is no girl here. Inn is closed to others during stay of Sheikh Hassanin Mohammed Hazara, my master. Room for no one else.
I believe the girl is here, and I intend to talk to the owner of the inn.
What is the cause for the disturbance, Muki?
Jungle man say he talked to you. I tell him.
It is Tarzan. May I be of service, Jungle Lord?
I seek a young French girl.
French girl? There is no French girl here.
Well, I should like to meet Sheikh Hazara and see what he has to say about her presence. Perhaps you have been paid for your silence.
I will confer with him, but you shall have to remain here. And I must lock the door against the possibility of your intrusion.
You are both fools. Had you invited this Tarzan to enter, I could have easily explained away the matter of the girl. But now you increased his curiosity. You make matters most difficult.
We only did what you ordered. You said no one else was to be admitted.
Unless I satisfy the curiosity of this jungle man, he may bring the police here. I cannot afford questions until I have reached my own land with the lovely French mademoiselle.
If there's nothing further you wish of me.
But there is, innkeeper. I desire you to prepare the most lavish meal of which you are capable, and to bring forth the best wines your cellars afford.
But, of course, mighty Sheik. I hasten to carry
Just
out...
a moment.
Yes, mighty Sheik?
Give me the key to the front door.
Of course. Here. I hasten to do your bidding.
What you do, master?
I shall throw the door open wide for the Lord of the Jungle. I shall invite him inside, and I shall honor him with food and drink. And whereas you two stumbling fools have only piqued his curiosity, I shall lay it to rest. No man shall deprive me of the beauty of the French girl. She shall be mine for all time.
You want Muki call guards? Watch Tarzan if he try make move against mighty Sheik.
I am more concerned with the actions of the girl. Go upstairs and tie her up, both her slender wrists and her tiny feet. Also place a gag in her mouth, and leave the whip where I can reach it easily should it be necessary to prove to her once again that I am the master.
I do as you say.
Good. With a gag in her mouth, she cannot cry out. And I am quite confident that I can outwit this jungle man.
We'll return to our story of Tarzan in just a moment. The last time Tarzan had been to the inn, it had been a crude affair. But for Sheik Hazara's visit, it had been hung with silken drapes and lavish brocades. Indeed, it seemed like an oriental palace, and the innkeeper and his assistants were scurrying about, preparing a lavish meal for the desert potentate and his most honored guest.
But I insist you remain with me. It is not pleasant to dine alone.
I shall accept with thanks. I desire to discuss one of the members of your entourage.
But who among my followers has deserved the notice of such a noble one as you?
The young French girl who ran into the jungle and then returned here. And I warn you not to deny her presence.
Why should I deny it?
The Senegalese guard and the innkeeper pretended I had imagined her. I thought they acted on your orders.
They were but exercising caution. You see, Tarzan, we have not as yet been united by the vows of marriage, nor can we be until we have reached my land. Here, the government frowns on a man having more than one wife.
And this girl is returning to your land voluntarily?
Before you take your departure, you may hear with your own ears the girl's admission that she goes with me voluntarily. Turn just a little this way, my dear, and I shall cut the last of the thongs that hold your tiny feet. Ah, yes, the gag. I shall remove it immediately. I am afraid Muki misunderstood my orders. I did not wish you bound again. I have given up hope of taming you, Renee. There you are, my insolent beauty.
What trick are you planning now?
I am through with tricks. This afternoon you ran away and were almost killed. I shall not continue to press my suit. If you would rather face a jungle lion than me, you must detest me greatly indeed.
It is not that I detest you. At least I did not at first, but I came to Africa to meet the man I love. And I have no intention of becoming a member of your harem.
I have abandoned all hope of taking you home with me.
What do you mean?
A jungle potentate said he'd seen you in the jungle this afternoon when you ran away.
You're the creature who killed the lion with a knife and then let out a scream like that of an insane man?
The same. He desires you as one of his wives, and I have decided to let him take you.
Oh, no.
Perhaps you may enjoy the life in the jungle more than you would the life among my people. There you will be dressed in crude skins. You will live in a filthy hut. Beasts will be on your very doorstep. Your companions will be the foul-smelling savages with rings through their noses. And if you do anything that displeases them, you will be torn limb from limb and devoured by these followers of Tarzan.
Oh, no. No, please, Ezra. Take me back to Algiers. The one I love was to meet me there. He will be worried sick by now.
I have decided to return you to Algiers. But now that this jungle lord has taken a fancy to you, I may find it difficult.
I will not go with him. You've got to save me from him, Ezra.
He demands to see you before he leaves. But perhaps we can resist his demands.
Hazara, why is your slave dragging the girl in?
She is shy, except before me. Bring her over here, Moki.
Yes, master.
Musicians, cease your playing. We have an important jungle potentate who would put questions to this fair young damsel.
Why do you shrink from me, girl?
I saw how you acted this afternoon. Are you killed with your bare hands? Am I to admire such a savage?
But I killed only so that you would not be injured.
You are like the rest. You protected me only so that you could let...
I protected you because your life was in danger.
And that wild scream, what did that mean?
It was the victory cry of the bull ape. I learned it from...
The bull ape? Oh, save me from him, Ezra.
You do not require saving from me. I came here only because I thought the sheik held you against your will. I heard you say something about standing no chance to escape.
You misunderstood me. I said no such thing.
Well, I was sure I heard you say those words. I intended wresting you from Sheik Azara and taking you away to wherever you wanted.
You will not take me. I will not go with you. You are a jungle savage, and I would rather be dead than
That is enough, Renee. Are you convinced, Jungle Lord?
Yes. I apologize, Azara. I shall be on my way now. Thank you for your hospitality.
Not at all. We shall sojourn here for a few days before we ride on to the desert. Feel free to visit me at any time.
I shall not come back this way. I'm returning to the heart of my jungle. Goodbye.
I shall show you to the door, Tarzan.
Thank you, innkeeper. I'm sorry I insisted on entering your inn, but I was under the...
Musicians, resume the music of my land. Mookie.
Yes, master.
Fetch my hookah. I desire the sweet incense of my pipe after this trying ordeal. I would have peace and rest before our journey of the morrow.
You are taking me back to Algiers so that I can meet him?
Algiers. I should journey all the way back to Algiers so that I may give you to another? No, my dear Renee. I am taking you to the desert so that you can become my bride.
But you said that...
I said just enough so that you will respond to Tarzan as I had hoped. You will continue to speak and act as I desire. And if my words do not convince you, be reminded of my other methods by the sound of my whip.
It was cold and penetrating that night as Tarzan made his way deep into the jungle. But the morning was hot again, and the unseasonable dryness had scorched the earth and destroyed the plants and the small game. Even the carrion birds were hungry, and as Tarzan made his way through the upper level, he could see a flock of them circling vainly over the jungle wilds. Then, suddenly, the ugly vultures who ordinarily fed on decayed flesh plunged downward. They had sighted a prey, and the scent of man, not yet dead, assailed Tarzan's nostrils. He streaked through the treetops, and a moment later he could see the hideous giant-like birds clawing and pecking at an exhausted white man. Tarzan leaped down, and his knife described great arcs as he stabbed furiously at the monstrous scavengers of the jungle.
It's no use. It's no use anyway.
What's no use?
Trying to make way through the jungle. I'll never find her anyway.
You're searching for someone?
I was searching. Not anymore. I'm finished. I'll never find Renee.
Renee? I've seen a girl by that name. Of course, there are many French girls whose names are
Renee.
No,
you don't. I've been taken in too many times as it is. Last one who claimed he'd seen her brought me into the jungle. He took the fee I'd promised him, and then he deserted me.
I see.
And the woman back at the hotel in Algiers. All she was interested in was money, too. Well, I don't know what your angle is, but you can beat it. If I'm going to die in this thinking jungle, I'll die. I've been taken for the last time.
Well, perhaps the vultures who escaped my knife shall not be cheated out of their meal after all.
In just a moment, the exciting conclusion of African Thanksgiving.
Well, at least the rain has come, Bill. You won't have to die in the blistering heat.
Back home at this time of year, everything's golden, red, and brown. Kids are cutting out jack-o'-lanterns, and women are roasting turkeys, baking pumpkin pies. There's a holiday we call Thanksgiving, Tarzan. I was going to take Renee back to America for Thanksgiving.
Perhaps you might like to talk about Renee before you die.
Yeah, I met her in Paris. I was an exchange student there, engineering. We fell in love, and I wanted to marry her, but I didn't have enough money to satisfy her parents. Oh, no, the way they figured it, she was going to marry a millionaire. Some oriental potentate had seen her at the store where she worked, offered them a fortune for her.
And they sold their own daughter?
No, they didn't do that, but it convinced them more than ever that Renee would make a brilliant match. Maybe they should have sold her to that Sheikh Hazara. She'd have been better off.
Sheikh Hazara?
When I graduated, I went back home. And 6 months ago, I had a chance to come to Africa on a job. And I'd be a little closer to Renee, so I took it. We corresponded regularly, and she wrote she was running away from home, that she'd meet me in Algiers.
What happened?
Well, my job was almost finished, but I couldn't leave until all the loose ends were tied up. I was a couple of days late in reaching Algiers, but the woman who ran the little hotel there where Renee was to go had promised to take care of her.
And she didn't?
I finally got the truth out of her, or part of it anyway. She made up some far-fetched story about having received a message from me, and she convinced Renee that I wanted her to meet me in the interior.
Well, why did you do that?
Someone had paid her to do it. I couldn't force her to tell me who it was, but She admitted Renee had hired some Arab guides to lead her to me in the jungle. It's the last that was ever seen of her. I've been searching for her ever since.
Bill, ever since we've met, you've doubted my intentions, even though I saved your life. I also saved Renee's life, and she treated me as though I were a leper. But regardless of whether you want my help or not, you're going to get it. If it's within my power, the two of you will have a reason for Thanksgiving. That's the inn just ahead.
Yeah. It's obviously deserted. Said there was a huge caravan stopping there.
Sheikh Hazara said they would remain here for several days, but they could have changed their plan, I suppose.
The whole story's fantastic. A remote inn transformed into a potentate's palace.
I didn't say exactly that. I said that the interior had been decorated with rich fabrics and costly ornaments. It must have taken weeks of preparation to make the place ready for the coming of this desert ruler. Innkeeper! Innkeeper!
There's no one here.
There is someone here. I can catch the scent of man.
Yes?
It is Tarzan, innkeeper.
Tarzan? I know no one by that name.
But I was here last night.
You must have mistaken my poor inn for another. No one has been here for years, and I have never before laid eyes on you.
So you were leading me on with a story that was nothing but lies.
Come inside with me, Bill. Get out of the way, innkeeper.
What? Rich fabrics and costly ornaments. Place is dusty and unkept.
Innkeeper, what happened to the trappings that hung here last night?
Trappings? I believe you have lost your reason, jungle man.
Where is Sheikh Hassanin Hazara and his followers? And where is the French girl?
You speak in the most amazing riddles. I know of no sheik or of any French girl. Certainly you must have confused my inn...
I apologize, Tarzan. She was here.
What?
Yes, innkeeper. You may have sprinkled dust around and you may have erased all the other signs of your recent visitors, but I found this in the corner over there.
A shoe?
One of Renee's shoes. Our friend here must have overlooked it. I know it's hers. It's of French make and it's her size. She has tiny feet. Not another girl in 1,000 could get this shoe on.
Now deny my story, innkeeper.
I only lied in order to save the young man greater sorrow.
What do you mean?
Just after you left, Tarzan, the girl grasped a flagon of poison and drank deep.
No.
She was buried early this morning in the graveyard at the edge of the city.
That cough's getting worse, Bill. You should have found shelter.
Not until I visited her grave.
A damp graveyard is certainly a poor place for a man with a cough. It's certainly a desolate place at night.
It's all my fault. If she'd never left France, she wouldn't be lying in this miserable cemetery. If I'd written to her to wait,
There's someone over there. You!
Yes, Effendi?
Why are you digging in the rain and at night?
When someone dies at this time of the year, the sepulchre must be completed before the rains come too heavy. I was packing the earth firmly about this grave that was filled but this morning.
Renee's grave?
I know not the occupant of this final resting place, save that she was a young French girl who traveled in an Arab's caravan. The caravan has left.
But not before you were well paid to heap heavy rocks on the grave and pour cement between the cracks.
He told you he was just trying to make sure the rains wouldn't...
Hold on to him, Bill. He may regain consciousness soon. I didn't hit him hard.
Well, why did you hit him at all?
Because he isn't a grave digger any more than you are. He's one of Hazara's men, and he was attempting to make sure no one would ever open that grave.
What are you doing?
I'm digging up the coffin. And I'm reasonably certain we'll find it empty.
Well, Renee may be alive, but I think we've lost their trail now.
No, Bill, we haven't. The signs are even clearer now that we're beyond the rain belt.
I haven't seen any signs, even the ones you tried to point out to me.
Well, they covered their trail fairly well. Hazara hoped the story of Renee's death would discourage us, but he wasn't depending on it completely. Are you sure you don't want me to hunt for some small game, Bill?
Oh, I couldn't eat.
How do you feel?
Better than I thought I would, after sleeping in that wet treetop. And frankly, I'm sick of Africa. If only I could find Renee, I'd take her to America so fast she wouldn't even have time to catch her breath. I don't think we'd ever leave the good old USA again.
But first to find her.
Yeah. It looks so hopeless. How can we hope to catch them when they're on horseback?
Well, they, too, are traveling by foot now. Their horses were lame by the time they reached the last pass. You could tell by the uneven depth of the hoof marks.
You could tell? I couldn't tell a thing. All I know is that if I ever come face to face with Hazara...
You will be face to face with him, and soon. And, Bill, you must not show your hatred. You must act as I advised. You must pray that Renee is smart enough to catch on. If she makes one sign of recognition, it will mean the end for both of you.
Looks like quite a celebration.
Well, these native cities are always holding pageants and parades and dances. They're meant to please their gods. I only hope their chief will agree to our part in the ceremony.
I guess you know what you're doing. But I'd like to go right to Hazara's camp and just...
Oh, do you know why Hazara made camp on the edge of the city?
No.
Because his horses can no longer carry their burden. If he's to reach his own land, he must have camels. And the natives won't be willing to sell them for any price until their celebration is over.
Yeah, but in the meantime...
In the meantime, I'm going to have a talk with their chief, and you're going to dye your skin black and dress as a native witch doctor. Then you're going to make a call on Sheikh Hazara.
Renee, I must speak to some local witch doctor who has just arrived. You had best retire into the quarters of the women.
All right. I will go. Only I do not see what...
Greetings, Sheik of Great Desert.
My humble greetings to you. Renee, I told you to go.
No. Woman is to stay. You in my city. So I give orders.
As you say, witch doctor. Why have you come?
Today is great celebration in our village.
Yes, I know that. Your chief told me that
we not sell you camels until parade through city over.
Yes, that was his decision.
But now, new decision made. Since you and your camp are within limits of city, your party must join in parade to gods.
I shall be most happy
This woman, she is great beauty. She please our gods. She ride camel at my side. I have spoken.
Renee, it is best to humor these native leaders. You'll have to do what he says.
All right, Ezra. I am ready to come with you, witch doctor.
Good. Camels tethered before entrance of Beit. Come with me. Goodbye, Sheikh Hazara.
All right, Bill, Renee. We're far enough from the Sheik and his men now.
Oh there, oh. Hey, I'm almost able to manage a camel now.
Oh, you were wonderful, witch doctor Bill.
It was a fine performance. Well, it's time to remove your makeup now. We'll leave these camels here and take to the jungle. I guarantee that the Sheik will not be able to follow our trail. It'll be 3 or 4 days until the natives sell him camels, and by that time, you'll be on your way to America.
America?
Gee, I wonder what my friends back home would have said if they could have seen me dressed like that native witch doctor and riding at the head of that fantastic parade.
Oh, the parade was part of a week's feasting to honor the gods of the fields. Grain is thrown upon the ground in the belief that some of the earth's yield must be returned to it, or otherwise it will become barren. The celebration is held at each harvest time.
Oh, sort of a Thanksgiving ritual, huh? Thanksgiving. Hey, it's Thanksgiving today.
What is this Thanksgiving?
That's a holiday you'll find out about in America, Renee. We'll be too late for the turkey and the pumpkin pie this year. We still have a lot to be thankful for. And number 1 on the list is having met Tarzan.
In just a moment, we'll return with a preview of our next story of Tarzan. During the past 10 years, the price of museum specimens has doubled and trebled. Today, an African elephant is worth $6,000. A giraffe brings $4,000, a hippopotamus $5,000, and a white rhinoceros $15,000. Tarzan attempts to halt the plundering of the jungle by an unscrupulous murderer, and he encounters Hunter's Fury, which is the title of our next story.
Tarzan, a transcribed creation of the famous Edgar Rice Burroughs, is produced by Walter White, Jr., prepared for radio by Bud Lesser, with original music by Albert Glasser. This is a Commodore production.
Can a stepmother successfully raise another woman's children? Colgate All-Purpose Tooth Powder presents the real-life story of Kay Fairchild, a stepmother who tried. It's a touchy subject when a man tries to tell his wife how to do the household by. Just listen.
Why don't you run the house like I run my business?
And what do you want me to do? Get a secretary and a bookkeeper?
No, but you can buy supplies when the price is most favorable.
Hey, if you mean getting bargains, then you're talking to a number one bargain getter. Why, only today I got in on a 1-cent sale deluxe. I bought 60 cents worth of Colgate tooth powder for only 41 cents. Now, can you do better than that in your business?
I guess not. Why, that's 50% more Colgate tooth powder for only 1 penny more.
You're right. See, I paid the regular 40-cent price for this giant pan of Colgate tooth powder, and then for just another penny, I got the large can as well.
Well, it's plain this lady needs no help from her friend husband in saving money. And he'll bless her good judgment every time he uses Colgate tooth powder. For this lively, quick-cleansing dentifrice reveals the glorious natural radiance of your teeth. And while it cleans teeth, it sweetens your breath and freshens your mouth. What's more, you'll find Colgate tooth powder safe and ever so pleasant for gum massage. Yes, it's an all-purpose tooth powder with benefits for all members of the family. And right now, Colgate tooth powder is smashing all-time records in sales. Because you can buy a large can for only 1 penny when you buy the giant-sized Colgate tooth powder at the regular 40-cent price. But when dealers' limited supplies are gone, this exciting 1-cent sale is over. Wouldn't it be too bad if you missed out? Now, Colgate tooth powder presents Kay Fairchild, Stepmother. David Hausman wants to win Kay Fairchild away from her husband. And he justifies this unorthodox ambition with the claim that he loves her and John doesn't. Peg has made up her mind that she's going to try to advance David's cause. Her reasoning is simple, if perhaps a trifle selfish. She figures that if David married Kay, he would probably be willing to take baby Billy and Bud along. And that will leave Peg free of any financial obligations toward the family. Free to get married, which is still her fondest desire. Well, it's Thanksgiving Day, and the prospects of it being a happy one in the Fairchild home are pretty slim. The fact that John has gone away and nobody in the family knows where he is seems especially dismal on this holiday. Out in the kitchen, Bud, hands in his pockets, leaning against the table, is gloomily watching Mattie baste the turkey. Listen.
You's a mighty fine-looking bird. Getting nice and brown, too. Yeah, I bet your mouth is watering something powerful, ain't it, boy? Uh-huh. A little bit. Looks good. Good. That turkey is plump just perfect, and don't you let nobody tell you different. Yeah. Same thing goes double for them pumpkin pies over there on the window. Bet you was wishing you could have a piece of one of them right now.
No, I can wait. I just came out here because I didn't have anything else to do, I guess. I was going over to watch them practice football, but kind of a gloomy day. So
I don't see nothing the matter with this day. Sun's shining.
It wasn't a while ago. Oh, this is a bum Thanksgiving Day. I'd rather be going to school today.
Land of mercy. Now I know there's something wrong with you. Let me feel at your head hard.
Oh, don't, Matty. There's nothing wrong with me.
You moping about your daddy being away, ain't you?
I don't know. Maybe. Seems awful queer to be getting ready to eat a big Thanksgiving dinner and Dad not home.
Well, now you just quit worrying about it. For all we know, he might walk in here just about the time you all ready to sit down to the table.
No, he won't. He won't be home today or tomorrow or... Oh, I don't know what to make of it all. It seems like the whole family's just going to pot. I try not to think about it, but no use. It just keeps running through my head all the time. Wondering where he is, thinking maybe something happened to him. Maybe he's not ever going to come back.
Oh, he'll be coming through that front door most any time now. He'll be coming. You'll see.
But supposing he doesn't come back, what's going to happen to us?
Land of goodness, child, how would I know? Be a mighty terrible thing, I guess. Surely would.
Well, there. You see? You're worried about it, too. And Aunt Kay's worried. I can tell it by the look on her face. Oh, it seems like the whole world's coming down around our ears and we... Oh, what's the use? I'm going up to my room.
And in the living room, Kay and Jen Porter are talking.
Jen, I try not to show it in front of the children, but every now and then I find myself with an unhappy look on my face and biting my lips. The children and I made an agreement, you know, that we'd act just the same around the house as though John were here, that we'd keep the family going just as though he'd never gone away. But it's a terrible strain. Oh, it's not fair of me to be talking like this to you, Jen. I didn't ask you to have dinner with us just so I could hash over my troubles with you.
Now, let's not go over that again. I've hashed over plenty of mine with you on various occasions.
But to see, Jen, this is the only home I've had for years. And if this isn't home, then no place is home. I haven't anywhere else to go, even if I wanted to go anywhere else. Of all the things that people can be grateful for on Thanksgiving Day, I think a home in which everybody's happy is the greatest. But it really isn't even a home with John not here.
Well, now, look. I think you've gone far enough with this case. Next thing you know, you'll have yourself weeping. And tears, I've heard tell, dampen a lady's appetite for turkey. Come on. Let's go find Billy and... Hey, where is Billy, anyhow?
I kind of think you had ought to go and talk to Bud, maybe. I think he's feeling kind of down in the dumps.
What's that, Matty?
Well, Bud, he was out there in the kitchen just a few minutes ago, and he was acting kind of awful blue. I kind of tried to cheer him up, but he run off upstairs, and, well, I think he was just about ready to cry.
Oh, dear. Jen, you go out and meet Peg and Billy, and I'd better go upstairs and see Bud.
All right, Kay.
Is dinner almost ready, Matty?
Ready to serve in about 10 minutes.
Well, I'll go up and get Bud, and we'll be right down. Bud? Oh, here you are. Why, what's the matter, Bud? Why are you lying here on the bed?
I'm all right, ain't you, Kay?
We're going to have dinner in just a few minutes, Bud. Hadn't you better come downstairs?
Yeah, I guess so. You go on down, ain't you? I'll be right along.
Ah, such a nice day. You're going over to the football game this afternoon, aren't you?
Yeah, I guess so.
Why, of course you are. The big game of the season, and naturally the band will be on. And what did the band do without a drum major? You can smell that roasting turkey even up here.
Uh-huh.
Mind if I sit here on the edge of the bed?
No, I don't mind.
Oh, now look, soldier boy. Why don't you take your head out of that pillow and sit up here beside me? Come on, sit up.
Well,
that's the boy. Bud, remember something we talked about a few days ago? About carrying on just the same as always until your dad comes back home.
Yeah, I remember.
I think we've been doing a pretty good job of it, haven't we? And today's the day when we're going to do the best job of all. This is going to be just the same swell kind of Thanksgiving that we've always had here in this house. Oh, sure, we've had a few little upsets, maybe, but we still have hope. All kinds of hope. Yes, and faith, too. Why, there's nothing wrong in this home of ours this Thanksgiving Day that won't be all cleared up in just a little while. So let's be thankful for that, Bud. We have so much, really. Why, so many people have real troubles. Troubles that maybe nothing can cure for, ever so long. But our troubles are just little ones. Oh, we have a fine home, and we have a great big dinner waiting for us downstairs, and you're going to lead the band between the halves of the football game this afternoon, and we're all well, and we have lots of good spreads. Oh, gee, it's going to be a wonderful Thanksgiving Day, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess maybe it is. On account of you ain't kids. I guess maybe it is. But
no, but here. It's going to be a swell Thanksgiving Day. Come on, Bud. Let's go down to dinner.
Valiant work, Kay. Feeling pretty blue yourself, but you're never going to let Bud know it. It's good you don't know that just a few blocks across town in Mother Fairchild's apartment, your husband is sitting on a divan close to Carolyn Adams and saying,
I believe this is going to turn out to be the most satisfactory Thanksgiving I've ever known.
But look at the rat turkey your mother's cooking out there in the kitchen. I'm inclined to agree with you.
Oh, it's not the turkey. It's not the fact that Mother is out there cooking the dinner. It's something else.
What, John?
I don't know. But I'm feeling terribly frank today, and so I'll confess that being around you gives me a kind of exhilaration that I haven't experienced for quite a long while.
Say, since the days when you first met your wife?
Let's not bring my wife into the discussion.
You weren't nearly so exhilarated a few hours ago, John. When I came, you were very glum. You were wishing you could be home with your family, weren't you?
No, of course I wasn't.
You lie like a gentleman, my good friend. Or at least you're learning. Well, if a man doesn't have his family on Thanksgiving Day, he must take the next best thing. Do you find me a pretty satisfactory next best thing, John?
Listen, Carolyn,
Don't bother answering, my dear. Let's go out to the dining room. I believe your mother's ready to serve dinner.
Yes, left to his own devices, John probably would have been home for Thanksgiving dinner. But Carolyn Adams is able to make him forget. Carolyn is obviously a very wise person. She knows John perhaps better than he knows himself. But she seems very willing to have him admire her. Is Carolyn going to prove a dangerous obstacle to Kay's attempt to bring John back to his family? Now, here are the facts. Plain facts in plain language. Colgate All-Purpose Tooth Powder is a safe, smooth, rich foaming dentifrice. It loosens dingy film stains on teeth with amazing speed, leaves teeth sparkling bright, radiant with natural luster. Then, Colgate's flavorsome foam freshens your mouth and sweetens your breath. And for final good measure, Colgate Tooth Powder is safe for gum massage. With all these benefits, you will agree that Colgate Tooth Powder, even at its regular price, is one swell value. But listen, our big 1-cent sale is still on, and you can actually buy a large can of Colgate Tooth Powder for just 1 cent. Yes, 1 modest penny when you buy the giant can at the regular 40-cent price. That's 50% more tooth powder for only 1 penny more. Why, it's colossal. Well, Peg is lined up in favor of Kay divorcing her father and marrying David Houseman. Tomorrow she goes to work to put her ideas into practice. Tune in again tomorrow and every day, Monday through Friday, for Kay Fairchild's Stepmother, brought to you by Colgate All-Purpose Tooth Powder. This is Carlton Cadell speaking. Would Wouldn't you call yourself lucky to get a gift from Wayne King, America's most popular orchestra leader? This gift is a free 25-cent jar of Cashmere Bouquet cold cream for cleansing when you buy one jar at the regular 25-cent price. And you also receive free a photograph of Wayne King. Discover for yourself the thrilling result of Cashmere Bouquet face cream. See how this light, refreshing cream leaves your skin radiantly clean, soft and smooth to your touch, and scented with Cashmere Bouquet, the fragrance men love. It's a beauty bargain de luxe. Yes, a 25-cent jar of this aristocratic face cream absolutely free when you buy one jar at the regular 25-cent price. Why, that's 2 jars for the price of 1. These Wayne King gift packages of Cashmere Bouquet face cream are now at cosmetic counters, and they're going like mad. So get yours today. The Columbia Broadcasting System. The WBBM Air Theater, Wrigley Building, Chicago.
The Harold Perry Show. And now, Harold Perry as Honest Harold, the homemaker. Well, the talk of Melrose Springs this week is the big Thanksgiving play, The Courtship of Miles Standish, which is to be given at the local high school. The director and star of this epic drama is none other than the Orson Welles of Melrose Springs, Honest Harold. Right now, we find our impresario at home having a costume fitting for his role of John Alden.
Almost through, Mother.
Just a minute, Harold. You know, I think these old blue serge trousers are going to make fine knee breeches.
Oh, I guess so. A little tight, but I'll take it easy when I bow.
Hold still now. I'll just pin these pants up. Put a pin in front.
Yeah?
And a pin in back.
Watch it, Mother.
I just know the play will be wonderful with my son directing it and starring in it.
Thank you, Mother. I also rewrote it a little, too.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. My boss, Stanley Peabody, is playing Miles Standish. I cut his part way down.
Harold.
Yeah, and I built up my part of John Alden a little bit. You know, Theodora, the new dancing teacher, is playing Priscilla.
Oh, yes. She's very pretty.
She sure is. I wrote some additional dialogue for my scene with her.
Additional dialogue?
Yeah, I put in a few kisses. Well, better get dressed and get right down to Theodora's Dancing Academy. There's a rehearsal call for our love scene this morning.
There is?
Yeah, I just called it. I'll see you later, Mother. Theodora. Gosh, I'm glad she came into my life. Rehearsing with her is going to be lots of fun. I'll make this one of those real kisses. The kind would cost you $2 in a taxi cab. Yoo-hoo, Theodora.
Oh, hello, Angel K.
Hello.
How's little old Curly Lashes today?
Curly Lashes?
It was nice of you to come and see your little Theodora.
Well, of course, this is strictly business, Theodora. I came over to rehearse the play. So let's get down to kissing. Business.
All righty.
Of course, I made a few little changes in our scene. The way I got it now, Priscilla and John Alden are sitting on the sofa.
Sofa?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, clever, clever boy.
I thought so. Well, shall we sit down?
All righty.
And, oh, yes, I made one other little change. John Alden kisses Priscilla.
He kisses her?
Uh-huh.
Harold, isn't that going a little far for a pilgrim?
Well, haven't you ever heard of the Pilgrim's Progress? Yes, sir. We'll start the scene with my speech. Priscilla, I, John Alden, speak not for myself, but for my good friend, Captain Miles Standish.
Why don't you speak for yourself, John?
Me?
You're so handsome.
Well.
The most charming man I've ever seen.
Sounds good. Ooh, I wrote that.
You're so masterful. John.
Here it comes.
Why don't you kiss me?
All right. Pucker up, Priscilla.
Oh, there's someone at the door.
Oh, my goodness.
Come in.
Oh, here you are. Howdy, folks.
Pete, the town marshal.
Hope I ain't interrupting anything.
What do you want, Pete?
Well, I wanted to talk to you, boy.
You two big men go right ahead and talk. I'll be in the reception room.
Yeah. All right, Pete. What is it?
You were getting pretty cozy there, weren't you, boy? Priscilla and John Alden smooching on the sofa. That's a doozy.
Now, Pete, what do you want to see me about?
Well, Harold, I'm having trouble with my part in the play. I keep forgetting all that stuff you told me to do.
Oh, for heaven's sake.
Maybe if I put it down in my notebook, I could keep it straight.
Well, all right, but hurry it up.
Let's see now. I come in and I say, I am a trapper lost in the woods. I wonder where I am at.
Don't just stand there, Pete. Look around.
Look around? Yeah, let me write that down.
Go on, Pete.
Oh, my. What is that behind the tree?
That's where you take 4 steps.
After I take 4 steps. Let me write that down.
Hurry up, Pete. Now, that's when you see the bear behind the tree.
The bear?
Yeah, remember? Doc Yancey is a bear.
Doc Yancey is a bear. Let me write that down. Now, what comes next, Harold?
Now, that's where the bear growls. Grrr.
How do you spell grrr?
Come on. Pete, will you get on with the scene?
Oh, my. Here comes the bear.
Grrr.
What'd you say, Harold?
That was me, growling.
Oh. Got stomach trouble, boy?
Pete, you're a dope. Why don't you write that down?
You're a dope. Sure, Harold, I can remember that. I'll see you
later. Theodora.
Yes, Harold, coming.
Sorry we were interrupted. Shall we rehearse the scene now?
All righty. Mm-hmm. John.
Yes, Priscilla.
Why don't you kiss me?
All right. Ye gods, who's that?
Oh, come in.
Oh, hello, Miss Theodora.
Hello, Dr. Yancey.
Hello, Harold.
Hello, Doc. What do you want, you old horse doctor?
Harold, I've been working on my part of the bear all morning, and I've got some wonderful ideas how to play it.
Well, Doc, all you have to do is growl.
Oh, I know, but there's different ways to growl, Harold.
What?
Now, this is an angry bear.
Yeah.
Now, don't let it frighten you, Miss Theodora. I'm just acting.
Come on, Doc.
All right, now here goes.
Oh, that was wonderful, Dr. Yancey.
Thank you. I could also make him a friendly bear like this. Then there's the melancholy bear whose mates run away and left him. He's real sad, you know.
No wonder she left him.
And Harold, I had another idea.
What is it?
Well, suppose at the end of the scene, I get up on my hind legs and recite a poem.
A poem?
Yeah. It's a very dramatic poem called The Coward.
Yep.
It goes like this.
Some other time, Doc.
Jake Simpson was a coward, afraid of people half his size. If a gun went off, he'd run a mile. He was even afraid of flies.
Doc.
But cowards sometimes make heroes. When the town was struck by flood, the women deserted their children, and the husbands ran off in the mud.
Doc.
When the others had fled from the flood, from their wives and their little ones slid, did Jake leave his wife and his family? You bet your life he did.
Doc, that's horrible.
It is? Oh, well, all right, Harold. If you don't appreciate art, it's all right with me. Goodbye, Miss Theodora.
Goodbye, Doctor.
Goodbye, Doctor.
I'll practice some more.
Well, Theodora, let's...
Hello!
Now, who is that? Oh, my goodness, the Firehouse 4.
Well, hello, folks.
Hello, T.
I brought the boys over, Harold. Thought we might run over our number.
Not now, boys.
What are you cute fire laddies going to do in the show?
Well, ma'am, we come out dressed as Indians and sing shortening bread.
But that's not an Indian song.
That's the only one they know. It took them 5 years to learn that.
But, Harold, we fixed the number so we'll sound like Indians.
What?
You ready, fellas?
Mammy's little baby loves shortening, shortening. Mammy's little baby loves shortening bread. Ugh.
4 Nelson Eddies.
Mammy's little baby loves shortening bread. Ugh.
Indians, I mean
Put
fellas.
on the skillet. Woo! Put on the lid. Woo!
Boys!
He's gonna make a little shortening bread.
Ugh. Ooh, yourself. I'm getting out of here. What a morning. Oog. Oh, well, the show isn't on till tomorrow night. Still a lot of time to rehearse with Theodora. Yeah, and I have to laugh when I think of Stanley Peabody playing Miles Standish. He may be my boss at the radio station, but...
Hemp!
Oh, my goodness, speak of Peabody, and there he is.
Hemp, I want to talk to you.
Oh, hello, Stanley. Well, Miles Standish, have you learned your part for the play?
What part?
Huh?
When you first gave me the role, I had 12 pages of dialogue. Now I can put my part on a postage stamp.
And, brother, are you stuck with it?
I am unhappy with my part. Do you hear me?
Hear you? You almost blew me across the street, Stanley.
I notice you gave yourself the best role in the play. John Alden.
John Alden? Oh, that isn't much of a part. Miles Standish is really the star.
Star? Huh. For 4 acts, all I do is fight Indians off stage.
Well, you win, don't you?
And you have all the love scenes with the girl.
Love scenes? Well, what do they mean, Stanley? Nothing. Anybody can do that. But Miles Standish is the role of a lifetime. An actor's dream. And because you're my old friend, Stanley, I gave the part to you.
Hemp, I'm touched. You're a real friend. But I can't let you make this sacrifice. We'll change parts, Hemp.
Huh?
I want you to be the star. And remember, you work for me, Hemp. Now, you're Miles Standish, that's an order.
But...
And I'll play the part of John Alden with all those silly little love scenes.
But...
I know we'll both be very happy with our new parts. Won't we, Miles?
Speak for yourself, John.
We will return for the second act of our story, Honest Harold, in just a moment. Just a little later this evening on CBS, screen star Paul Douglas will visit Bing Crosby, and the two of them will be reminiscing about the good old days. We hope you'll stay with us and be listening when Paul Douglas comes to call on Crosby later this evening.
I will.
The Bing Crosby Show is heard every Wednesday evening on most of these same CBS stations. And now, back to Honest Harold, the homemaker. Well, it is the night before the Thanksgiving play, the courtship of Miles Standish. But Honest Harold hasn't much to be thankful for. He wound up with the part of Miles Standish, and his boss, Stanley Peabody, is going to do all the courting. Well, right now we find our disappointed lover at home, just finishing dinner before going to dress rehearsal.
Oh, no, Harold. You mustn't feel bad just because you're not going to play John Alden.
Well...
And you look so distinguished in your Miles Standish costume. Oh, I can just see you standing there, stroking your beard.
Yeah, and while I'm stroking my beard, Stanley will be kissing Theodora.
But that's just in the play. They'll only be acting.
I don't know, Mother. Sometimes these acting romances get out of hand. Look at Errol Flynn.
Harold, I'm sure Theodora prefers you to Stanley.
I don't know, Mother. After all, he's a lot flashier than I am. He's the Chrysler type. What am I? Just a 36 Essex with a bent bumper.
Why, Why don't you call Theodora right now and ask the driver to rehearsal?
Well...
I'm sure she'd be delighted.
Yeah, maybe you're right, Mother. No harm in trying. Sure. Just because Theodora and Stanley are lovers in the play, that doesn't mean anything.
Hello?
Hello, Theodora. This is Harold.
Oh, hello, Angel Cake.
Yeah. Angel Cake, that's sweet. I was just wondering if I could drive you to the rehearsal at the high school tonight.
Oh, you're a darling to ask me.
Oh?
But I can't go with you.
Oh.
I'm going with Cutie Pie Peabody.
Cutie Pie Peabody?
Yes, in his little old Nile Green town and country.
Yep.
I hope you don't mind.
Mind? No, of course not. After all, what am I? Just a 36 Essex.
What?
Don't worry about me. I'll see you at the rehearsal, Miss Theodora. I've lost my Theodora. Here I am with a broken heart and a bent bumper. Quiet, everybody. Quiet. Will you please drop that hammer up on stage? Oop, a little close, too. Thank you. Now, this is the final dress rehearsal of our play, so let's get down to business, folks. First, we'll see if everybody is here. Gloria? Giggling Gloria. Pete?
Here, boy.
Doc Yancey? Firehouse 4. Indians.
Oh, Indians. Okay, fellas.
Yep.
Mammy's little baby loves shortening.
Boys.
Mammy's little baby loves shortening bread.
That will do. Priscilla and John Alden. Theodora and Stanley. Those are out joyriding in Stanley's town and country. Well, who cares? We'll start without them. On stage, everybody. Where's my megaphone? All right, Raymond. Overture.
Okay, cuz. Take it, men.
Sounds pretty good. That'll set the mood. Yeah, sure. Oh! Heaven's sake! Raymond! Raymond, cut that out! Stop it!
What's the matter, cuz?
For your information, Raymond, the Pilgrims did not go in for Dixieland.
Oh.
And take that derby off that cornet. You got enough funny hats in this show now.
Okay, cuz.
Now we'll take the prologue. Pilgrim Maid, Gloria.
Oh, me?
Yeah, yes, you.
Gee, I don't know if I can do this.
Come on, Minnie, ha-ha.
All right. I am just a pilgrim maid.
That's right.
Who came from across the sea.
Good.
Across the sea. Across the sea.
You've crossed the sea 3 times. Now go on, Gloria.
Oh, and when we landed on the shore, we saw the...
Indians! Indians!
Indians? Okay, fellas.
What?
Mammy's little baby loves shortening.
Oh, quiet!
And when we landed on the shore...
Never mind, Gloria. You'll never make it. We'll take it later.
Stanley.
Uh-oh, Theodora and Stanley.
You say the cutest thing, Stanley Wanley.
Stanley Wanley.
Oh, hello, Ham.
Hello. I hope it wasn't too much trouble for you to attend our rehearsal, Mayor.
Why, Haroldy, Waroldy, I believe you're jealous.
Jealous? I am not. That's ridiculous. Just thinking about the show, that's all. On stage, everybody, immediately.
All right, Harold.
Come on, Theo.
Theo, eh? Certainly getting familiar.
We're ready, Hamp.
We're ready, Hamp. All right, Miss Theodora, Stanley, we'll take your scene from the very beginning.
Oh, we know the beginning. Why don't we start where we sit on the sofa?
On the sofa?
Yes. You know, the part you rewrote.
I hate him.
Priscilla, I have come to speak for my friends.
Why don't you speak for yourself, John?
Me?
John, you're so handsome.
Handsome? I've seen better-looking skeletons than him.
You're so strong, so massive.
Sneaky imitator.
John, my darling.
I can't stand this.
John, why don't you kiss me?
All right.
Cut!
Kemp, I insist on finishing this scene.
Yeah, but I have to rehearse my part, Stanley. Miles Standish.
Your part?
Yes.
All you do is stand off stage and fight Indians.
Indians? Okay, fellas.
Mammy's little baby loves shortening, shortening.
Quiet, you fools! Keep it up, fellas. I'll sing it with you.
Mammy's little baby loves shortening, shortening. Mammy's little baby loves shortening bread. Good.
Show's getting off to a good start. Overture's going fine. I'll just take another peek through this hole in the curtain now. Well, a lot of people out there. Well, Captain Miles Standish, the show must go on. Well, Raymond has finished the overture. This is it. Pull up the curtain. Gloria, where are you?
Here I am.
Oh, well, go out on the stage. You're the prologue.
I feel so silly.
Stop that giggling, Gloria, and get out there.
All right.
Hope she doesn't fall in the footlights. Or do I?
I'm a little pilgrim maid. Oh, hello, Raymond.
Hello, Gloria. Gloria.
Oh, Harold.
Ye God, she's got the giggles again. Curtain! Quartet's on next. Where are those Indians? Hey, Firehouse 4.
We're right here, Harold.
Oop. Don't sneak up on me with those moccasins on. Now, don't forget, boys, you back me up on my solo first, then you do shortening bread.
Okay.
Curtain. Come on, boys. Follow me. Thank you. Thank you. Glad you recognize me with this beard. I love you as I never loved before. Since first I met you on the village green. Come to me, or my dream of love is o'er. I love you as I loved you when you were sweet, when you were sweet, 16. I love you as I never loved before. Since first I met you on the village green. The village green. Come to me, or my dream of love is o'er. I love you as I love you when you were sweet. Hey, what's that?
Well, that's the fire bell, boys.
Oh, my goodness, what a time for a fire to break out.
Must be a short circuit at the beauty shop again. Follow me, men.
Boys, Indians!
Hey, we'll break down the doors with our tomahawks.
Fellas! Curtain. All right, next scene, quick. The Trapper and the Bear. Places? Ready?
Yeah, I'm ready, boy.
How about you, Doc? Okay, curtain? Okay, Pete.
I am a trapper lost in the woods. I wonder where I am at. This is where I look around.
Well, brother, he's doing the stage direction, too.
Oh, my. What is that behind the tree? Take 4 steps. What was that? A bear. A bear.
Go on, Doc. Go on, Doc. Growl.
Oh, it's me.
I'm supposed to say next?
Get off the stage.
Get off the stage! I can't think of a thing. Ain't I the dodo?
Get off of there before you get the bird. Ye gods, will somebody say something?
All right, Harold, I'll save the day.
What?
Jake Simpson was a coward.
Oop.
Afraid of people half his size.
Oop.
If a gun went off, he'd run a mile.
Curtain! Oh, brother, what a night. Thank goodness it's almost over. Now I've got to watch that courtship scene with Stanley and Theodora that I wrote. Look at her out there at the spinning wheel. Gosh, she looks pretty. How could she be so fickle?
Out of my way. Out of my way, Hemp. I've got to make my entrance.
Hello, Stanley.
Well, Captain Miles Standish, I'm going in and kiss your girl now.
Hope he gets a run in his stocking.
Oh, that must be John Alden now. Come in, John.
Coming, Priscilla.
John!
Priscilla, I must talk to you. Come, sit on the sofa.
Lounge lizard.
All righty. John, you are so handsome in your pilgrim suit.
Handsome. Looks like an ad for Quaker Oats.
You are so strong.
Here comes the kissing scene. I'll close my eyes.
So masterful.
Well, yes, I am. But I, John Alden, speak not for myself, but for my good friend Captain Miles Standish, who waits without.
You said it.
Captain Standish is more handsome, strong, and masterful than I.
He is? Then why don't you send him in?
What?
Come in, Milesy Wilesy.
What you doing? Say, that's me. Hey, coming, Priscilla.
Theodora, Priscilla.
Kiss me, Miles Standish.
You said it. Step aside, John, old boy.
Just a minute, Hemp. Miles Standish never got the girl. You don't know your Longfellow.
Well, you don't know this short fellow. Pucker up, Priscilla. You go out and fight Indians, John.
Man's little baby loves short
Must have been a false alarm. Thank you. Now I'd kind of like to take off my Miles Standish whiskers and be just plain Harold Perry for a moment and introduce to you a very charming lady, the winner of our National Laugh Contest, who came all the way from station WNOX and Knoxville, Tennessee, to be officially crowned Miss Mirthquake of 1950, Mrs. Lena Duncan. That's wonderful, but Mrs. Duncan, that was kind of a puny laugh. I don't think the folks in Knoxville heard that. Oh, I bet they heard that without benefit of radios. Been having a good time here in Hollywood.
I've had a wonderful time.
That's wonderful. And Mrs. Duncan, it made me very happy that you were our winner.
Thank you, Mr. Perry. It made me happy, too.
Oh? Well, I hope you're still happy because we've led our honored guest a merry chase from the moment she stepped off that TWA plane. Yes, sir. She spent a week at the Hollywood Country Club Hotel. We showed her off at MGM Studios, took her to glamorous Cyril's. She met Amos and Andy Evard and Jack Benny, was on television with our Mr. Jack Meakin, did a broadcast with George Fisher, went to Cyrano de Bergerac premiere and had breakfast with Jimmy Starr this morning, even paid the check. I'm tired just thinking about it, folks. Life in Knoxville is going to seem just a little humdrum after a week in Hollywood, isn't it?
It'll be good to get home.
It will. Your husband and son, eh? Well, I know that all the folks in Knoxville are mighty proud of you, Mrs. Duncan, and so are we. So at this time, I'd like to officially dub you Miss Mirthquake of 1950 and present you with your scepter. behalf of our cast, Gloria Holliday, Joe Kearns, Jane Morgan, Parley Bear, Olin Soleil, Maury Alden, Eddie Firestone, Harry Stanton, and the Fireboys, our writers, Gene Stone and Jack Robinson, our director, Norman McDonald, Jack Meek, and our musical director, Dave Wright on sound, Joe Swagger, our engineer, Bob Lamond, our announcer. I'd like to thank everybody connected with the promotion of the Laugh Contest. You were wonderful, and wish you all a happy Thanksgiving. Good night, folks.
You have been listening to the Harold Perry Show, Honest Harold. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Good night, folks.
The Ford Show, starring Dinah Shore with Peter Lynn Hayes and Robert Emmett Dolan and his orchestra, and our guest for tonight, Dennis Day. All presented by the Ford dealers and Lincoln Mercury Dealers of America. And here is Dinah Shore.
Sooner or later you're gonna be coming around, I'll betcha. I'll betcha that I get you. You wait and see. Sooner or later you'll wanna be hanging around, I'll let you. I'll bet you if I let you, you baby me. You're gonna knock on my door, you did it before. Matter of factly, I don't know exactly when, but sooner or later you're gonna be coming around and want my loving again. Sooner or later you're gonna be coming around and want my loving again.
Good evening, friends. This is Dinah Shore. Welcome to another Wednesday evening Ford Show with Bobby Dolan and his Dixieland 40. Our guest, the fabulously naive Dennis Day, and, of course, our own Peter Lynn Hayes.
Hello, Dinah.
Hiya, Pete. Say, you know, since tomorrow's Thanksgiving Day, I thought we could
Holy jumping, tomorrow is Thanksgiving Day.
Forgot, did you? What's the matter, fella? No calendar?
Oh, I got one of those Esquire calendars. Yeah. Who looks at the date?
Oh, Pete, imagine forgetting Thanksgiving, especially this one. Have you stopped to think, Peter, that for a lot of people, it's the first real Thanksgiving in many years?
Mm-hmm, but I'm getting tired of jokes about Republicans. I've just got to do something about a turkey. How's the butcher situation? Do you have a long wait?
Long wait? Well, at my butcher shop, 2 of the women ahead of me were pilgrims. Which story is exaggerated a little, but not too much.
Oh, Dinah, there must be millions of people going through this last-minute Thanksgiving hassle. I bet they could use some household hints.
Hey, that's right. Ladies and gentlemen, as a public service, Peter I now present last-second Thanksgiving hints.
Hello there. Do you know that chestnut stuffing can be made quickly with breadcrumbs? 20 breadcrumbs will stuff 1 chestnut.
Hello there. Do you know that a little cleaning fluid added to turkey gravy will prevent it from staining clothes?
And do you know what you can do with leftover pumpkin pie?
And do you know that if you do not have time for elaborate preparations, you'll find that roast turkey, mashed potato, squash, salad, dessert, and coffee make a delicious dinner.
Oh, yes. Do you know that you should save turkey feathers? They can be made into quill pens that will write under gravy.
And now for our recipe department, which tonight is devoted to that neglected group of Thanksgiving cooks, the men. So here is Pete Hayes to describe the cooking of a turkey to you men in a style that men can understand. You men.
Good evening, cooking fans. Here we are in the kitchen of an American home, about to watch another great turkey feast. Our chef is poised. He looks in great shape. Our turkey is a 20-pounder with a fine lineage. He's by butcher out of kindness of heart. Our chef starts to make the stuffing, and we're off. Into the bowl go the breadcrumbs, the flour, paprika, celery, garlic, sage, marjoram, thyme, and here comes curry powder, garlic again, cinnamon, bay leaf, allspice, nutmeg, ginger, coriander, chili, soybean sauce, tobacco, and Worcestershire. Oh, followed by vinegar, horseradish, mustard, and to give it a little zest, a pinch of salt. We're at the halfway mark with stuffing going in and out of the inside, and garlic out in front by a nose. And here comes mashed potatoes and cranberry sauce, and what have we here? The chef is bringing up a plate of corn and a plate of beans. Oh, there's a spill, and we have a new entry. Succotash. Now here we go again. It's turkey in the oven, mashed potatoes and stuff with cranberry sauce on the outside. And now it's heating up and it's still turkey, stuffing and mashed potatoes. And now we're coming toward the finish with turkey on top, stuffing, mashed potatoes, cranberry sauce. And here's the winner. Yes, folks, it's everybody's favorite. Bicarbonate of soda.
On the same subject, here's Tom Hanlon with some sensible remarks. Right, Tom?
Right, Dinah. All over the country tomorrow, families are going to be piling into Ford cars to drive to Grandma's for the Thanksgiving feast. Well, if you've had a fall checkup by your Ford dealer, you'll enjoy the comfort of knowing you'll get there. And that is a comfort these days when so many cars are suffering from the infirmities of old age. Your Ford dealer has 4 can't-be-equal advantages for keeping your car running its very best. First, he has genuine Ford parts, precision-made to fit perfectly. Second, his mechanics are factory-trained. They know your Ford from A to Z. Third, they use factory-approved methods. And last, special Ford equipment. No one else can fill this prescription. No one else knows your Ford so thoroughly. It stands to reason your Ford dealer can service your Ford more expertly, quicker and cheaper, too. Visit your dealer soon for a fall checkup and to get set for the colder weather ahead. For Fords, as well as for holiday family reunions, there's no place like home.
One of the most exciting happenings in radio this season has been the meteoric rise of a brilliant young tenor with a great flair for comedy. He's finally attained his rightful place in the entertainment world, and according to those who tune in on him 2 evenings each week, he's wonderful.
Gee, which are the 2 evenings? I'd love to hear him.
Dennis Day, I'm talking about you. Oh, it's good to see you, Dennis.
Hello, Dinah. I'd like to commence by saying that it's a great honor and a privilege to be allowed to be on the program with America's #1 radio entertainer.
Why, Dennis, how did you ever think of such a pretty speech?
Nice, huh? It's the first clause of my contract with Mr. Benny.
Dennis, do you mean Jack Benny actually made...
Dinah, please. I will not permit Mr. Benny to be reviled or insulted. I must always bear in mind that whatever I am, I owe to him.
Oh,
That's the second clause. Mr. Benny knows every kind of clause.
Except Santa Claus.
Say, that's a joke, isn't it?
Well, if you want to be charitable.
Yeah, I never knew girls tell jokes. Santa Claus.
Well, Dennis, if you don't mind, I'd just as soon go...
Girls always say very serious things to me, like drop dead.
I really started something, I guess, huh?
Hello, Dennis.
Oh, good evening, Mr. Hayes, sir. How are you, sir?
Huh?
How are you this evening, sir, Mr. Hayes, sir?
Hey, who am I supposed to be, Whistler's father?
Wait a minute, Dennis. You know Pete only just got out of the Army himself.
Oh, is that so, sir? Tell me, sir, did you see any action, Mr. Hayes?
Yes.
Where?
Bunker Hill.
That's a joke, too, Dennis.
Gee, another joke. Boy, it's sure a thrill to stand here swapping jokes like an adult, not like on Mr. Benny's program.
How do you mean, Dennis?
Oh, they treat me like a baby. They always spell things out so I won't get what they're saying. But I fool them.
I'll bet you did.
Yeah, I found out what GIRL was and KISS. And one of these days I'm going to find out what they mean by LSMFT.
Don't, Dennis. I don't know. I wouldn't if I were you, Dennis. Your illusions will go up in smoke.
Gee, Dinah, I wish I was hep like Mr. Hayes here. I read where he worked at the Copacabana nightclub in New York.
Oh, that was really nothing, Dennis.
Gee, a nightclub. How did you ever get your mother to let you work there?
I got her a job in the chorus.
Well, my mother has no talent.
Say, Pete... You know how strict Dennis's mother is. She won't let him sing the coffee song unless the caffeine's removed. Incidentally, what about a song, Dennis?
Oh, I'd be glad to, Dinah, since it's for you and such a fine gentleman as Mr. Hayes.
Ah, see here, you young twub. Will you kindly stop addressing me as though I were Dr. Gillespie?
Well, I'm really very sorry if it bothers you.
Well, it does, old man.
Well, okay, old man.
Now, see here, young fellas. 2 Lionel Barrymores is too much. Sing, Dennis.
I never wrote a melody before. I never penned a lyric that would rhyme. But when I looked at you, a song came still and true that will live wherever hearts keep time. The whole world is singing my song, but I sing it only to you. The whole world is humming along. I love you, I love you, I do. You put my dreams to music. I lent a song could start. I gave the world the music, but I gave you my heart. The whole world is singing my song, I gave the world the music, but I gave you my heart. The whole world is singing my song, but I always sing it to you.
That was so lovely. You know, Pete, Dennis ought to make a wonderful romantic lead in musicals.
Yeah, but the trouble is all the big musicals aren't written for tenors. They're for baritones like Sinatra, Como, Crosby, Haynes, Victor.
Gosh, aren't tennis people?
Sure.
Don't I pay taxes?
Yeah, but
Ain't I human? Don't I live in a trailer like everyone else?
Dennis, you know, I think I have an idea for you.
I can sing. I can even make girls swoon.
Now, Dennis, this might be...
One time when I sang, they had to carry a lady out of the theater and take her to the hospital.
Dennis, look, I know that's true, and I wouldn't...
And not only that, but 2 hours later, she had a baby.
Dennis, what I was going to say was, I think I have the answer to the whole thing. For your voice and personality, you need the kind of musical that Johann Strauss used to do.
Dinah, that's exactly right. I need the kind of musical that Johann Strauss used to do.
Mm-hmm.
What kind did he used to do?
Well, they were delicate, old-fashioned operettas full of waltzes and charm. Here, now look, Peter and I will join you and give you an idea of the sort of thing I mean. Let's go back, say, 100 years or so, and our scene will be the well-known mythical kingdom of Dittendorten on the Danube, in the days of the waltz. Our scene, the royal court. The Prime Minister, Peter von Hayes, approaches the king. He speaks.
Greetings, Your Majesty, Dennis von Minderbrust, King of all Dittendorten, Emperor of the Earth, Guardian of the Sun, Keeper of the Stars, and Monarch of the Moon.
You always leave out Notary Public. Well, good morning there, Royal Prime Minister Peter von Hayes. You wish something perhaps to request there?
Well, you see, Your Majesty, some papers to sign there is. First, here is the daily order for executions.
Let me see there. 200 people to be beheaded. That makes 500 this week. Why so many there?
You see, Your Majesty, we have to solve the housing shortage. And as for why we are hurrying, there are only 28 chopping days until Christmas. But now, Your Majesty, to serious matters. Your Majesty, the country is in a state of turmoil. I, Von Hayes, can read the handwriting on the wall. And do you know what it says?
Von Kilroy was here?
No, trouble. The peasants are revolting, and there is only one way to put down the revolt. You must take a wife.
Take a wife where?
Your Majesty, you must marry. Then the peasants in their joy will cease revolting. And I have chosen your wife. You will marry my sister.
But she's even more revolting than the peasants.
But you must marry her, sire. Little does he know that when this marriage takes place, destroy him I shall.
Little does he know that here am I can. Now listen, Von Hayes.
Your Majesty.
Who are you?
Please don't shoot me. I'm a little peasant Mädchen, poor but beautiful.
Oh, well. What is this, a peasant with a petition? I can't understand this. With guards around the moat, guards around the drawbridge, guards at the windows. How did you get in here?
Through the door.
Oh, I knew we overlooked something.
Oh, Your Majesty, I come to plead for food for the people for.
What'll I say, Von Hayes?
Why don't you just say...
No, Von Hayes, I will not do it. I will not again say, let him eat cake. I'm always telling the people, let him eat cake. Darn it, I'm the king. Why don't I ever eat cake?
Oh, mighty King Dennis, you won't let the people starve. Your face is so kind and intelligent and wise.
Yeah, my face. I will stop starvation. I will pass a law against it.
Wonderful.
Starvation in Dittendorten is now illegal.
Bravo.
From now on, anyone caught starving will be arrested.
Oh, noble king, from now on, no longer will you be known as Dennis the Drip. You will really reign.
Oh, that's a joke. Say, I think cute you are. Why don't I marry? What's your name there?
Oh, your majesty. So certain this is. My name is Dinah, but my friends call me Schnapsy.
How sickening. My friends call me Strudel. Ah, Schnapsy, you are everything I ever wanted in a wife. And besides that, you're a girl, too.
Oh, come, your majesty, have you gone utterly mad? You can't marry this peasant, this commoner. You are a king.
Yes, but I've always been democratic.
Sure, and these days Democrats can't afford to be too particular.
You are so right.
And now, Strudel, that I know you really love me, I have a surprise. Here, under this peasant blouse, I am wearing a royal robe. Dennis, king of Ditton-Dorton. I am Dinah, queen of Dorton-Ditton.
Holy smoke, a queen. You're the queen from Dorton-Ditton down there. See, when we get married, we can join our two countries. We'll combine Ditton-Dorton with Dorton-Ditton.
And what will be called a new country?
Let's see, Dorton-Ditton, Ditton-Dorton. Mm-hmm. I got it.
What is it?
Azusa.
No, now, your majesty, I am...
Away with you. You think you can run a whole country just because you have bushy eyebrows?
Well spoken, Dennis. Sing to me, my love.
Right.
I never knew a girl like you. I'm such a schmoo, got no IQ.
Don't feel so blue. Here's what to do. Just put your two lips to mine, and we'll pitch. Ooh. This is the sort of romance which hundreds of years later caused people to write songs like For Sentimental Reasons. I love you for sentimental reasons. I hope you do believe me. I give you my heart. I love you, and you alone were meant for me. Please give your loving heart to me, and say we'll never part. I think of you every morning, dream of you every night. Darling, I'm never lonely whenever you're inside. I love you for sentimental reasons. I hope you do believe me. I've given you my heart for sentimental reasons, believe me. I've given you my heart. Now we take you to New York, where the noted editor and commentator, Mr. Henry Lacossette, is waiting to speak to you. Okay, New York and Henry Lacossette.
How do you do, ladies and gentlemen? Yesterday I saw a man write on a steel plate. He wrote a letter of the alphabet and a few numbers. That's all. But in so doing, he set in motion the miracle of mass production that ended only with an automobile being driven off the assembly line. The man wrote on the steel plate with a metal stylus. The letter and the numbers were then carried by teleautograph to various parts of the assembly plant and inscribed on paper in recording machines. This told what type of car it would be, what color, and so on. Then, in response to these numbers, parts begin moving from everywhere in the plant toward the final assembly. The frame begins its journey along the 1,000-foot assembly line that carries it through the great plant. Now the axles are lowered and fitted into place. Now the motor, the steering wheel, the body, all the rest, until the 15,000 parts of the car are all in place. Finally, the car is driven from the end of the line into the rain tunnel, where an artificial downpour tests it for leaks. After that, it is ready. The thing that began with the writing on steel is now a complete automobile. I saw all this at the great assembly plant of the Ford Motor Company in Dearborn, Michigan. All over the country, at other Ford plants, the same process is going on. Day in, day out, Ford is building cars and trucks for you as fast as it can. And now, back to the Ford Show and Dinah Shore in Hollywood.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Lacossette. Oh, buttermilk sky.
Oh, buttermilk sky.
Keeping my eye peeled on you. What's the good word tonight? Are you gonna be mellow tonight? Oh, buttermilk sky, can't you see my little donkey and me? We're as happy as a Christmas tree, heading for the one I love. He's gonna pop me that question, do you, darling, do you do? It'll be easy, so easy, if I can only bank on you.
Oh, buttermilk sky.
Oh, buttermilk sky.
I'm telling you why.
Now you know. Keep it in mind tonight. Keep a brushing those clouds out of sight. Oh, buttermilk sky. Don't you fail me when I'm needing you most. Hang a moon above the hitching post. Hitch me to the one I love.
Gonna pop her that question, do you, darling, do you do?
It'll be easy, so easy, if I can only bank on you. Oh, buttermilk sky.
Oh, buttermilk sky.
Don't you fail me when I'm needing
Don't
you
you fail me when
most.
I need you.
Hang a moon above the hitching post. Hitch me to the one I love. You can if you try. Don't you tell me no lie. Will you be mellow and bright tonight? Buttermilk very much, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back again next week, and our guest will be that wonderful Gene Kelly. Dennis, it was me too, girls. Dennis, it was so wonderful having you, and if I didn't get a chance to tell you, your new show is simply wonderful.
Thank you, Dinah.
Hey, see you around, Dennis.
Good night, Peter. Good night, Dinah. Good night, Mr. McNulty. Good night, Mrs. Calabash.
Why Mrs. Calabash?
I'm still mad at Mary.
Good night, folks. So today,
Dennis Day appeared through the courtesy of the Colgate Palmolive Teeth Company. And be with us again next Wednesday night when the Ford dealers and Lincoln Mercury dealers of America again bring you Dinah Shore with Peter Lynn Hayes and Robert Emmett Dolan and his orchestra. Our guest will be Gene Kelly. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
The challenge of the Yukon.
On, King! On, you huskies!
The Wonder Dog King, swiftest and strongest of Eskimo lead dogs, blazes the trail through storm and snow for Sergeant Preston as he meets the challenge of the Yukon. Sergeant Preston was typical of the small band of Northwest Mounted Police who preserved law and order in the new Northwest country, where the greed for wealth and power led to frequent violence and bloodshed. But in spite of the odds against them, Sergeant Preston and his Wonder Dog King met that challenge, and justice ruled triumphant. Sergeant Preston stretched his feet toward the fireplace in Father McLean's cabin in Dawson. King, his big lead dog, lay down close beside him and watched the flickering flames through half-closed eyes. Father McLean eased his portly figure into the chair opposite the mountie with a contented sigh.
Yeah. Even Thanksgiving is no excuse for eating as much as I did today. But that dinner was too much of a temptation.
Well, it was a wonderful meal, Father. That cook of yours is a prize. I feel like I'd swallowed a whole deer.
It's a good thing Thanksgiving Day comes but once a year.
You were awfully nice to let me share your dinner with your father. It's not often I get food like that.
Yeah, the people in my church are very thoughtful of me on holidays. They bring food that one doesn't expect to get way up here in the North Country.
You know, Father, 2 years ago, I had dinner with another priest on Thanksgiving. Nothing like this one, though. His congregation was very bitter about him at the time.
Bitter? Had he done something wrong?
Well, they thought so. It's rather a long story, Father.
Well, what could be better than a story sitting here before the fire after dinner?
The priest was Father Haley. He left this part of the country before you arrived. He's the one who started the mission in Dawson.
Oh, yes, I've heard of him.
It was before they built the church that's there now. At the time, Father Haley was busy raising funds for it. He was a lovable old man, big fellow with twinkling blue eyes and a good sense of humor. He was very fond of dogs, too, and King was a big favorite of his. I'd been on a patrol north and was coming back to Dawson. About 10 miles from town, I was mushing along the trail, and suddenly I heard a dog.
Oh, King. Hello, you huskies. Stay here, King. I'll see what's happening. Well, fellow, what's wrong?
Oh, poor fellow, you stuck your foot in a trap. Wait a minute, I'll get it out. There. Now, come on, boy. I'm taking you with me. You can ride on my sled back to Dawson. He was a gentle dog, Father, part setter and part shepherd. We never found out who owned him. Father Haley's cabin was on the trail near the outskirts of town. It was evening when I reached it. Father Haley held the door open while I carried the dog in.
Take him over there by the fire, Sergeant. I'll bring a lamp so we can have a look at him.
Well, lie down here, fella. That's it. Well, you got that bandage off, didn't you?
Yeah, now we can see. Well, he's licked it nice and clean, hasn't he?
Yes, I guess he can take care of it better than we can. I'm afraid he's going to lose 1 or 2 toes, though.
Well, I guess there's nothing more we can do for him except feed him.
It'll heal up all right, Father, if he stays off it a while.
You're going to leave him here with me, aren't you?
Why, that'll be fine if you want him. I have to leave town again tomorrow.
I'd be glad to have him. He's a nice dog. If his owner doesn't show up, I'll keep him permanently.
Well, Shep, you're a lucky dog.
He's wagging his tail. Maybe that's his name.
It's as good a name as any.
I'll call him that. He seems to like it. Now, let me warm up a cup of tea.
Oh, no, don't bother, Father Haley. You have enough to do taking care of Shep. Anyway, I'd better get into town.
You say you're going away again tomorrow?
Yes, I'll be away quite a few weeks, I think.
I wanted you to have Thanksgiving dinner with me, Sergeant.
Oh?
You think you'll be back by then? It's 3 weeks off.
Well, that's nice of you, Father. I'll do my best to get back.
We've been raising funds to build a new church, and I hope to have enough by then to warrant a special Thanksgiving celebration.
Well, that's encouraging. This town could certainly use a church. I'll try and get back for it. Now I guess I'd better go. I have to make a few stops in town before bedtime.
Hello, Sergeant. Glad to see you.
Hello, boys. How are you?
You're just in time, Sergeant.
Huh?
We're taking up a contribution for the new church that Father Haley is planning to build.
Well, that's fine, Butch. I didn't know you were interested in church.
Butch started it by giving a whole bag of gold dust. Gold Nugget Bar is a funny place to be doing it, but I'm all for it. Think maybe you won't fry quite so long, Pete?
We're going to need another half. This one's full. Sergeant, you better take this money out to Father Haley.
Well, sure, I'll be glad to.
I'll take it out if you're too busy.
Oh, I'll be going past his house tomorrow. I can drop it off.
Ain't you staying in town for a while, Sergeant?
Have to make another patrol, Ben. Be leaving tomorrow or the next day.
Well, there's the money, Preston.
Oh, this is heavy. A lot of money here.
That's nothing to what he'll have in a week or two. This is just a started going. The whole town's chipping in. Sure.
I left the gold at Father Haley's cabin the next day. The collection had netted about $2,000. I was quite surprised that Butch Harvey had started such a thing. Butch was a newcomer in town, and I hadn't liked him from the first time we met.
I see.
There was nothing I could put my finger on exactly.
You Mounties must get quite good at judging men on sight.
Oh, I've been wrong about a lot of men, Father. My judgment isn't always right.
Well, we all make mistakes.
I decided I'd been wrong about Butch, and maybe he was doing this to prove to the town that he was all right.
And, was he?
No, Father. I left town the next day after leaving the money with Father Haley. My trip took me far south, and I wasn't around while the church fund built up. As I learned later, Butch and his partner Ben were very active getting collections, and the whole town contributed. 3 days before Thanksgiving, Father Haley had raised over $15,000. He was putting some gold into the box that evening when Shep scratched on the door. Father Haley put his parka on.
Well, you want to go out for a walk, Shep? I've been so busy today I didn't take you for your walk. All right, boy, go on out. I'll put on my things right away. I'm coming, boy, as soon as I put this box away. There. That ought to be all right.
Good evening, Father Haley.
Hey, Butch, I'm sorry I didn't hear you knock. Hello, Ben.
Hello, Father.
Sit down, boys. I was just going for a walk with Shep. Wait till I put this box
Don't
away.
put the box away.
Eh? Oh, did you bring another contribution?
Not exactly, Father. This time you're doing the contributing.
What do you mean?
Get the box, Ben.
Sure.
Butch, you don't mean you're taking the church fund?
That's not all we're taking. You're coming with us.
What?
Here's the box.
Take it out to the sled. And come on, Father, before I get nervous and pull this trigger. Don't keep me waiting.
Father Haley went with them out into the dark. They tied him to the sled and drove off. Nobody noticed old Shep. The dog watched the sled disappear and then limped after it. The team outdistanced him quickly, but he kept on through the night, following the scent.
Did they intend to murder Father Haley?
Well, Butch would have, but Ben wouldn't agree to it. They argued about it on the way.
You're crazy, Ben. He can find his way back, I tell you. It's getting light. He can see the trail.
We're going to turn off the trail, ain't we?
But he can see landmarks. He can follow our tracks back, too.
What's wrong with taking his glasses away from him? He can't see without them. I tell you, I won't murder a priest.
Oh, you Huskies. All right. We'll turn off here and head for the mountains. I'll take his glasses off and we'll lose him in the hills. Yeah, I don't see the difference. He'll die of starvation or freeze to death.
I got back to town the following day. The weather had been clear, and I made a special effort to spend Thanksgiving with Father Haley.
Had anyone discovered he was gone?
Oh, yes. The whole town was in an uproar. Some of the people thought Father Haley had run off with the money. Pete Darcy met me just as I came into town. He was very excited.
Sergeant Preston! Sergeant Preston!
Okay. Oh, you Huskies. What's wrong, Pete?
Well, I'm sure glad you got back, Sergeant. Father Haley has disappeared with all the church money.
Disappeared? When?
Day before yesterday. People think maybe he run off with it. Maybe he wasn't a priest at all.
That's ridiculous, Pete. He'd never go away unless someone forced him to. Were there any tracks around?
Well, lots of people have been in and out to see him. He lives near the trail that's well used.
Yes, I know.
Town's pretty mad about it. Everybody's giving him lots of money to that fund.
Come along, Pete. We'll go to his cabin now and look it over.
You see, Sergeant, his park is gone, his fire's out, and the money's gone.
Yes. I wonder what became of Shep.
Shep?
The dog he had.
Oh.
He certainly wouldn't try to travel with a lame dog.
Nobody thought about the dog. He ain't had him very long.
Come on outside, Pete. Maybe we can still find Shep's tracks.
Your own dog has made tracks all over.
Here is Shep's. You see that front foot?
Yeah, he's lame. Doesn't put much weight on it and is crooked.
Here, King. These tracks, boy. Can you find him?
I'm afraid the trail is cold by this time, Sergeant.
Well, it hasn't snowed for 2 days. These tracks lead away from town. We could probably pick them up, but the snow hasn't been trampled. I'm going to try it, Pete.
You want me to come with you, Sergeant?
Why, no, I'll go alone. I'll take what supplies I can find at Father Haley's cabin here. Can't stop for more. Maybe a long trip. My team was tired, but we kept going. After a while, the trail of the dog was easier to follow. Shep's foot had started to bleed where the snow and ice had broken open the freshly healed cut.
You mean that dog kept right on going in spite of it?
He'd become very fond of Father Haley. When the tracks turned off the trail, it was easy to follow them. Shep, by then, was going on 3 legs.
When did you find Father Haley?
Well, not until the next evening. Shep had found him the night before. They were huddled together in a clump of spruce trees at the base of the mountain. Father Haley had no idea where he was. Here, Father. Put this blanket around you. I'm glad you built a fire.
It isn't much of a fire. I had some matches in the pocket of my pocket.
Who did all this, Father?
Butch and Ben.
Oh?
They've gone off for the gold. They took my glasses from me, and I couldn't find enough wood. If Shep hadn't come, I'd have frozen. We kept each other warm.
I found you by following Shep's tracks.
Yes, poor fellow. He was ready to drop when he found me. He dragged himself to me, his poor foot all bloody. Feed him first, Sergeant.
I will, Father. Now, you relax and don't worry about the church funds. I'll telegraph Butch and Ben's description to the border. They're headed for Eagle City. And now I'll get some food ready.
It's not the Thanksgiving dinner we had planned, is it, Sergeant?
No, it isn't, Father. But there's plenty to be thankful for.
Were the 2 thieves, Butch and Ben, caught?
They were caught at the border by one of our men. Most of the money was returned.
As Father Haley said, that must have been a rather slim Thanksgiving dinner you had that night.
Yes, 'twas, Father. But it's one I'll never forget. We sat at the base of the towering mountain. The moon glistened on the snow, and it was deathly still. Father Haley sat beside the flickering fire with Shep's head in his lap. He hadn't eaten for 2 days. But when I put his food in front of him, he didn't eat it at once. He bowed his head and gave thanks. It wasn't a short prayer, and as he ended it, I felt a lump in my
throat. I thank the Lord for sending Shep to me. Please grant me the faith and courage that is his, and help me to follow thee with an equal love and trust.
These copyrighted dramas originate in the studios of WXYZ Detroit, and all characters, names, places, and incidents used are fictitious. They are sent to you each week at this same time. This is Larry McCann speaking.
The Cavalcade of America, starring Juan Hernandez.
presented by the DuPont Company, makers of better things for better living through chemistry.
Cavalcade's play tonight, The Burning Bush, is the story of a Negro who rose from a slave cabin to America's Hall of Fame, Booker T. Washington. Our drama is adapted from his autobiography, Up from Slavery. Our star is Juano Hernandez, who has just scored a personal success in the Broadway production, Set My People Free. The Burning Bush on the DuPont Cavalcade of America, starring Juano Hernandez as Booker T. Washington.
I was born a slave, and I believe my childhood was like that of most slaves. I don't remember being cruelly treated, nor do I remember ever having time for play. I worked, cleaning the yard, taking water to the men in the field, carrying corn to the mill to be ground. But there was one task I enjoyed. Sometimes I was sent to the schoolhouse with young Missy to carry her books.
Boy, what you doing hanging around that schoolhouse door?
Just looking.
Looking at what?
Adam studying. Wish I could go to school.
You hush your mouth, boy. Schoolhouse learning ain't for you. Hush your mouth.
So I learned to hush my mouth. But I listened, and I can remember a great deal of talk about a war going on, and the grown-up slaves used to whisper that they were fighting about us. Then, early one morning...
Booker, child, wake up. Yes, I'm hungry, Ma.
Well, we'll get some breakfast by and by. We're going to leave this place, honey, right past sunup.
Why, Ma? Why we leave? We don't run away, Ma.
All the time asking why. Talking and asking how come. We got work to do, child.
If we run away, they'll catch us, Ma. Like when old Sam ran away, and they catched him.
Ain't nobody gonna catch nobody no more, child. Soldier man come last night and say colored folks are free now. Old Mrs. can't make us stay here no more.
We always been here, Ma. Where have we got to go now?
Well, we're going because I don't know, child. I don't know.
My mother was telling the truth. She didn't know why she was going away, or where. She had no understanding of her freedom, nor did most of us. I knew no one of my race then who could read or write. And yet all these people, my people, were called upon now to assume all the responsibilities of the modern world. But let no one get the notion that the slaves didn't want freedom. I never saw one who wouldn't give his life to be free. The place we went to was a little town in West Virginia called Malden. I lived there for several years, working in the mines. And then one day I applied for work at the home of Mrs. Ruffner, a Yankee lady.
Well, boy, you're certainly a sight, I must say. Though I don't suppose it's your fault. You've been working in the coal mines, haven't you?
Yes, and the soft furnace.
Your work won't be easy here. There'll be the cleaning to help with, and the yards, and coal for the grapes, and the cows. Why, what's the matter, boy?
I thought, ma'am, maybe I could get some time for school.
Well, did I say you wouldn't? If I hire you, that is. You get your work done and do it well, and always be honest with me and tell the truth, and we'll see about school. What's your name, boy?
Booker, ma'am.
Booker. That's an odd name. Booker what? You'll need two names, Booker, if you're going to school. A Christian name and a family name.
My name. What was my name? Or rather, what was my other name? Free people needed two names, it seemed. But colored people in the South had been known simply as Tom or Betsy or Booker. Sometimes a colored man would take the name of his white owner, and he'd be Tom Hatcher, or maybe Hatcher's Tom. But that didn't seem right now. I had to choose a name for myself. I thought desperately as I stood there before Mrs. Ruffner, and suddenly I said,
Booker Washington, ma'am. Booker T. Washington.
I learned a lot of things from Mrs. Ruffner besides my name: to work with my hands, to dress neatly, and to use a toothbrush. But in the infrequent hours of school, the nights of study in my attic room, I learned not much. So in the fall of 1872, I made my way somehow over the 500 or so miles from Malden to Hampton, Virginia, and presented myself at the Hampton Institute, a newly founded school for Negroes.
Hello there. My name is Ernest Weston.
Hello, I'm Booker Washington.
Are you enrolling here this fall?
Well, I don't know. I'm waiting to see General Armstrong.
I haven't seen him myself yet, but I'm sure it's going to be all right for me. I had my tuition money plus a certain amount in excess for extra books and clothing, and I already have something of a foundation in Latin and Greek. I'm finding Latin very enjoyable, aren't you?
Well, I haven't studied it.
Haven't you? Oh, well, Agricola omnis colorium.
What?
That's Latin. I'm taking it, and you will be taking it up next year. I'm very interested in mathematics, too. I had quite a lot of tutoring in it. A gentleman from...
Booker Washington.
Yes, ma'am?
General Armstrong's ready to see you now.
Hampton Institute was headed by General Samuel C. Armstrong, the noblest, rarest human being it's ever been my privilege to meet.
Booker T. Washington?
Yes, sir?
Sit down.
Thank you.
Washington, you bear one of the greatest, perhaps the greatest name our country has known. Now, what do you want to do with it? What do you want to do with your life?
Well, I want to learn, sir.
Learn what? Well, what do you want to learn, Booker?
Well, sir, I thought, well, I'm not sure, but, well, Latin and Greek.
And algebra and calculus and astronomy and medicine and jurisprudence. Isn't that so?
Well, is it wrong to want to learn those things, sir?
Not wrong, Washington, but I'm wondering if Hampton is the place for you. I don't know.
Oh, please, sir. I've worked and I saved my money, and my mother worked too, and my brother is helping me out with what he makes in the coal mine. And the day before I left, almost every one of my friends, they came around to help me as much as they could with a nickel or a quarter or a handkerchief, because they wanted to be proud of me. I've thought about it, and I've dreamed about it for 3 years now, Mr. General Armstrong, and now you tell me, now you say you don't want me.
No, Booker, that's not what I said.
General Armstrong, I can't find a... Oh, I beg your pardon.
All right, Miss Mackey, what is it?
I hate to bother you, but, well, you see, classes are scheduled to begin this afternoon, and the recitation rooms are filthy. There's so much to do, and I can't find anyone to help clean them. I'm very sorry to bother you, but...
All right, Miss Mackey. I expect we'll handle the situation somehow. I'll see to it.
Thank you, sir.
General Armstrong, I'll do the sweeping for you. I worked for a lady back in Malden, sir. I can sweep fine.
You didn't work hard and come all this way to Hampton just to take a broom in your hands again, did you?
No, sir.
Well, then why did you make your offer? You think for 1 minute that you'll curry favor with me?
Oh, no, sir. I figure if I want to learn and study in these classrooms, I should be willing to help keep them clean.
That's a good answer, Booker. I think that's the only good answer.
I want to help my people, sir. That's what I want more than anything else. But before I help anybody else, I have to learn and help myself. Isn't that right?
That's right, Booker. I guess you'll do to enter this institution.
You are listening to The Burning Bush, starring Juano Hernandez as Booker T. Washington on the Cavalcade of America, sponsored by the DuPont Company, makers of better things for better living through chemistry.
Booker T. Washington, the great Negro educator, is telling us the story of his life.
For the next 9 years, Hampton Institute was very much a part of my life. I graduated, and after an interval of teaching at Malden, General Armstrong took me on his staff. And then, one morning in 1881, the general called me into his office.
Booker, I've received a letter from some gentlemen in Alabama who want to start a normal school for colored people in Tuskegee. They've asked me to recommend someone to take charge. Do you think you could fill the position?
Aye, sir.
That's right.
Well, won't they want a white man, sir?
I think they'll accept my recommendation. Do you think you can fill the place?
Well, I'd like very much to try, sir. Had I known what faced me at Tuskegee, I should hardly have been so confident. The state legislature had granted a small appropriation for teachers' salaries, but there was no provision whatsoever for securing land, buildings, or books. To build a whole school, we had only the few $100s which had been raised by the Citizens Committee of Tuskegee. Good morning, friend.
Morning.
I wonder if you could tell me how to get to the old plantation house. They said it was somewhere on this road.
There's a little road that leads right down there, only it's so choked up, can't hardly see it.
Well, maybe you would show it to me?
Yes, sir. You the teacher man from town?
Yes. I've heard there's a chance we might be able to get the place for our school. I walked out to take a look at it.
No. That old place is falling off the hinges.
Grandpa, you come eat your food now.
This is that teacher man from town, Carol. You acting as he'd like to eat, too.
Oh, good morning, Mr.
Washington's the name, Miss...
That's Carrie Sampson, Mr. Washington, and this is my grandpa. Oh, I'd be mighty glad to have you eat with us, only it's nothing but old side meat and black-eyed peas.
Well, there's nothing I'd like better, Carrie, if you're sure there's enough to spare.
I'll get you some water, Mr. Washington. Oh, Grandpa, what you doing now?
I was fixing my clock. Ain't this a pretty clock, Mr. Washington?
Yes, it's beautiful.
But it don't run, and if it did, he would know how to tell time.
You shut up.
I won't shut up. A man sells in that clock for $62, Mr. Washington. All the money we had in this world, and it won't run even for one day.
It's pretty. I ain't never had a gold clock before.
Gold? Man told him it was gold.
They say colored folks got a right to all they eat once. If I want a gold clock, I'm going to have it.
Well, you have it, don't you? But we don't have a knife and fork for Mr. Washington to eat his food with.
Oh, what you fussing about?
Oh, Mr. Washington, I get tired of all this talk about what we're going to get and what we're going to have. Colored folks going to be all these fine things they say and ride up the road in carriages and never wear nothing but silk. But all we got is this old cabin where I was born and where I'll die, too. See if I don't.
Well, I was born in a cabin, Carrie. A cabin that would make this one look like a palace.
You, Mr. Washington?
That's the trouble with us all, Carrie. We want to ride in carriages, but we don't want to learn how to make the carriages, or the harness, or the clothes to wear when they ride in it.
Oh, I never had a chance to learn nothing, Mr. Washington. All I ever done was pick cotton and fetch water and split wood and listen to all this big talk about what's going to happen and never does.
Have you ever been to school, Carrie?
A little bit, once. I've been thinking I'd like to come into your school in town. Only there's nobody to take care of Grandpa.
Ain't nobody need care of me.
Well, maybe we'll have the school out here, Carrie, so you could go to it and tend to things here, too.
A school out here?
I hope so. That's why I came out today, to look at the old plantation house. There's a chance we can buy it.
Oh, I've been over there lots of times, Mr. Washington. When we was little, we used to play over there and make believe there was ghosts and hens. It's got 3-4 houses, an old stable, and a hen house. Only they's all dirty and falling down.
Well, I'd like to see it, Carrie. Would you take me there?
Oh, sure, Mr. Washington. We can go right now.
All right, fine.
You be good now, Grandpa, and don't eat nothing more.
I don't want nothing more. Bet if I work so while more on this old clock, I'll get it to run.
A little later, at that same plantation house, I addressed the first assembly of the students in Tuskegee Institute. Students and friends, We've all heard the old saying, you've made your bed, now you can lie in it. Pardon me. But here at the new Tuskegee Institute, we have to make a change in that saying. We have to build our beds before we can lie in them. We have here today nothing but these few old, tumble-down buildings, a little food on credit allowed us by our good friends in town, a little money given to us by other friends, both here and in the North, and our own will to succeed. So I'm going to ask something of you, something more than is usually asked of men and women who are seeking knowledge. I am going to ask you not only to study and learn in your school, I'm asking you to help in the building of your school. I'm asking you to dig the ground and cut the timbers, and yes, even to dig clay and make bricks. If we want a school, we must build it for ourselves with our own bone and sinew and the strength of our heart and soul. Come in. What can I do for you?
Mr. Washington, we...
Mr. Washington, the new students have appointed us as a committee to bring certain grievances to your attention.
I see. How many of the students do you represent?
Well,
Most all of them, Mr. Washington. All the new ones have complaints to make.
And we thought it was only fair to tell you about them right away now, Mr. Washington.
Yes, that was the right thing to do.
Mr. Washington, we didn't come to this school to work like field hands and day laborers.
And I didn't come here to milk cows and hem tea towels. I want to be a school teacher.
And you don't think that a teacher could ever be called on to milk a cow or hem a towel?
Well,
Or do you know how to do all those things already?
That's not why my parents worked and sacrificed to send me to school.
No, my family neither. I came here to learn something, not to make hog pens and sweep floors.
What we mean is, well, Mr. Washington, my daddy came out from town yesterday and wanted to see my books. He wanted to know why I didn't have more books, how many books I had read through. And when he got here, I was out there on my knees, digging sweet potatoes.
Your father is not an educated man, is he, Sam?
No, Mr. Washington, he's not. He can't read nor sign his name.
Then, like so many people, perhaps he puts too much importance in the reading of a book. The mere reading of one means nothing unless it helps us in some way.
How am I going to know, Mr. Washington, if I spend all my time digging sweet potatoes and sweeping floors?
I don't think you will. You'll find we have it arranged here so there's a time for everything. We'll try to send you out of this school as educated men and women. But you'll also be men and women who can take care of yourselves, who can do whatever's needed to fit yourselves into the life of the community and the country. Now, suppose you go out into the world prepared to teach Greek and Latin. The community you go into may not feel the need for Greek and Latin. Maybe it needs bricks and houses and wagons. If you can supply them, then maybe later there will be a need for Greek and Latin. The man who is prepared to do something the world wants done at the right moment, that man will make his way, regardless of his race.
What you doing, Mr. Washington?
Well, I think it's time for you all to get to your classes, and if you'll excuse me, this office looks a little untidy. I think I'd better do some sweeping. Shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul.
Mr. Washington.
Oh, hello, Carrie. What is it?
Oh, I'm sorry to disturb you, but I've been going over the books like you asked me to, and, well, I just don't know how we're going to get through the rest of this year.
Is that bad?
We only made $17 from this month's vegetables and only $55 from the bricks we sold in town, and we still can't meet our bill by almost $200.
Well, Carrie, don't worry about it.
Oh, but I do worry about it, though. I think sometimes maybe it's not worth one little bit of all this work and trouble.
Well, Carrie, don't say that.
You're a fine, smart man, and you ought to just think about yourself. Forget all about us. The school's going to fail anyway. It's going to fail.
That will do, Carrie. I don't want to hear any more of that kind of talk. Now, please, Carrie,
Yes, sir. I'm sorry.
Mr. Washington.
Oh, come in, come in.
I ain't seen nobody outside. I hope you don't mind if I come in.
It's all right. What's your name?
I ain't got no real name, Mr. Washington. Just Hattie. Just old Hattie. Onlyest name I ever had.
Well, sit down, Hattie. You're tired, aren't you?
No, sir. It's all right. I come to bring you something, Mr. Washington.
To bring me something?
Yes, sir. I hear tells how this school is having a hard time. I thought maybe these boys and girls ain't getting enough to eat.
Oh, Hattie, it's not as bad as that.
But I hear tell it is. And I know what you's trying to do, Mr. Washington. I know you's trying to make better men and women for the colored race.
Well, Hattie...
I ain't got no money to give, but I got these eggs here. I've been saving up from my hens. They've been laying real good, and I want you to take them. You'll take them, won't you, Mr. Washington?
Hattie, do you remember the story of Moses in the burning bush? How, in a time of sorrow and pain, the Lord God appeared to Moses in a burning bush and said to him, I have seen the affliction of my people, and I will deliver them into a good land. Well, Hattie, these are not really eggs. They're our burning bush. They're our rainbow in the sky, the lightning in the cloud, and the sign that says it's all been all right. It's been worth all the sweat and the toil and the struggle. Certainly I'll take them, Hattie. They're the finest eggs I've ever seen.
Booker T. Washington was right about those eggs. They were the sign. They symbolized the people's faith in the work he was trying to do. Under Booker T. Washington's presidency, Tuskegee Normal and Industrial Institute developed into the nation's leading exponent of industrial education for the Negro race. Today, at Booker T. Washington's birthplace in Franklin County, Virginia, his ideals and teachings are being perpetuated in the Booker T. Washington Birthplace Memorial. And as the inscription at the base of his statue at Tuskegee reads, he lifted the veil of ignorance from his people and pointed the way to progress through education and industry. Booker T. Washington. Tonight's cavalcade play, The Burning Bush, was written by Frank Gabrielson and directed by Jack Zoller. The music was composed by Arden Cornwell and conducted by Donald Bryan. This is Ted Pearson speaking. Cavalcade of America comes to you each week from the stage of the Longacre Theater on Broadway and is presented by the DuPont Company of Wilmington, Delaware.
This is NBC, the National Broadcasting Company.